Yeah, it's pathetic. Look.
Hold on a second.
Look.
Calm down.
Well, wait,
Welcome to our listeners in Mexico. Where were we big this week, Rich?
Yeah.
Kazakhstan.
Well, we'll find out. I'll check my email in a minute.
Pathetic.
Check your email. Your lights on. That's quite blind.
Do you want me to turn it off?
No, you can leave it on.
At least to win this week.
I was hoping it would. Nah, it doesn't have the focus issues. My phone won't autofocus. I don't know why, but if you want professional, broadcasting,
Yeah.
you know where you can go. But they're only on for an hour.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Welcome along. This is 4020 Live. We've got a special guest with us this week as well. We'll talk more about that later. But you are you're present for a moment of history, really. On Friday, the legend Gary Schofield finally got his hands on a major trophy. So all those people that abuse him, saying that he was a good player but he never won anything.
Oh, a good player.
Steady away player, never won anything. He is now the proud owner. Be careful, Phil. Don't be. It's heavy, that.
He didn't put it back on.
It's heavy. No, you've got a bit of OCD, have you?
Didn't want it to fall over.
We are now the proud owners here on 4020 Live. Although we slipped up really because you didn't. I don't think we gave the right team name in, did we? But we are now the proud owners at 4020 Live of the Bolton Wanderers ex-players golf trophy. That basically I won for the team with a bit of help from a couple of others. Scoring there, doing a John Terry.
Bolton Wanderers. Bolton.
Was it to raise
What
proceeds for the club?
No, but I'm glad we didn't win the raffle because I think that would play at left back for the season.
Could have won the stadium.
Thankfully, we didn't win that. Scored did a full John Terry, basically did bugger all to help the occasion, but went and collected the trophy on our behalf. Have you got anything you want to say, Led?
Well, I think that's a bit harsh, and to be honest with you, Matt, as we keep saying on this show many times, there's no I in team, and we was a team. And if you want to tell all our listeners and all our viewers on Facebook and YouTube as well, just let us know what did you do on the first tee? Exactly what I did at Celtic Manor. What did you do on the first tee?
I don't think it did. Did it go that far?
Yeah, well, I'll tell
did
you
it go
what
10 yards?
Exactly what I did at Celtic Manor. You knobbed it off the first tee. But
What made it worse? I did it again on the second shot.
Yeah, well, exactly. So you're giving it the big licks that it was you who won the trophy. But I think
well, I did that. In fairness to listeners, I did then follow up with 13 parts, so I think that's pretty good.
Hold on. You had 2 double bogeys and 2 treble bogeys. So that's it's a good thing. But anyway, we was a team. Liam, the other team member, was good. Carl as well, who was excellent from there. And I came in myself on a few holes, but also too, I think it was my inspirational talking. The one of the ones with the lads going around, bit of a pep up when it needed for the team from there. So I felt as though the game management, Phil, it got us over that line. But I tell you what, I must say,
I can't understand why you're not coaching.
Well, Phil, I must say as well, we finished up on 101 points, and Sam Allardyce, as we know, Sam, he's a great captain, and his team was playing in front of us, and we were waiting on every hole, on every shot to play. And do you know what? They came in with 97 points.
I don't think so.
I don't really think there might have been a little bit of rubber on the card, to be honest with you. But hey, listen, we managed to win 100 points, and there we go. Yes. At last, I'm a champion.
Any Arab sheikhs following Sam round?
Whoa! He's a friend of the show. You know,
Big
friend of the show.
Sam.
He's a friend of the show.
Hey, I tell you what,
David wants to know if you've qualified for the Irish Open.
What do you think?
You know what Ballymena is? That in Ireland?
Yes.
I've had a phone call today from Ballymena this afternoon, and I never answered it. I've had a phone call today.
You know,
You could well be right. Yeah. I must admit that I supped enough Guinness yesterday up in Whiteham to say I might be from Ballymena, but Big Sam, he left his driver on one of the tees anyway. So
what did you do?
So we picked it up. We picked it up here anyway. So I thought I'm gonna have a go. It looked like about £500 tailor-made driver. It's absolute peace anyway. Where did it go? Hey, straight out of bounds. I thought, well,
so you had another go.
Maybe first time, so second one, straight again. I said he could stick this £500 driver exactly where the sun shines. Anyway, so when we're going down from there, he's waving. I thought, oh Jesus Christ, the Bilal lad's not going to get a tailor-made here. But I was just going to give him my driver, which is an old Donny driver worth about £2.50.
Do you still make Donny?
He said, yeah, I've got Donny clubs. If there's a sponsor out there who wants to sponsor me some golf clubs, hey, listen, I've got a few golf days coming up. I'll be more than delighted to purchase the golf clubs from you. But he came there, and I was going to give him the tailor-made with a Donny one, but I thought, no, I'll just leave it alone from there. But no, it was a great day, and we managed to win it. And here we go. There you are.
What does it feel like to finally won a major trophy?
To be honest with you, I was very nervous, and when I was giving the speech, and I'm not used to picking up trophies, and I was really, Mark, honestly, I was really nervous for. I'm not used to picking up trophies. The only trophy you know, that's been picked up. It was the Yorkshire Cup, and I was never captain the whole. I wasn't captain of the Leeds at the time because Crooksy was the captain. So yeah, I was pretty nervous, but delighted, and we all contributed as a team, Mr. Wilson.
We did.
An amazing.
Congratulations.
Your speech
Well
was
played.
fantastic.
Not only between us have we got 46 Great Britain caps, but we've got as many majors between us as Colin Montgomery.
Yeah.
So
We are on this show.
That's on Sky.
No,
Another
no,
friend of the chef.
No's Nolan. No's Nolan.
Yeah, anyway, whoever's phoning me for Ballymena today, just leave a voicemail, and if you want me to do something for you, just leave a nice message. If you don't, if you want me for something else,
It's
leave it alone.
They probably need to talk to the team before they go
And
out.
so,
Psychology.
We should basically, Rich and I have black armbands on because Leeds in crisis is officially died now.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
staying up. They're staying up.
Not going to
Leeds is staying up. All Leeds are way, innit?
Not going to be talking about the league.
No. Wakey in crisis, so I might talk
Well,
about
no,
that.
100 nil.
Cass in crisis. Not Huddersfield, they won this week. Well done,
Huddersfield was
Huddersfield.
right.
Salford, are they teetering on the edge?
Salford and
bottlers.
Wakefield.
Hey,
London were bloody awful on Saturday. First half. Oh, for God's sake. The only thing that was worse than London's performance was the fact that Danny Ward admitted he watches Love Island. I just thought, this has
Maybe
been
that's
such
why
a
it was
bad
such a
day.
bad performance.
Well, they were better second half, in fairness, but job done. Luther Burrell made his debut.
also as well, Steve McNamara must listen to the show because he did the right thing. Drop Marty Smith. Hey,
Did you drop him or was he injured?
He's got to be dropped, sure. I could care if he did not. He's got to be dropped. And look what, and the Catalans.
Does he run fast enough to get injured?
They're just totally a
They
different
scored
side.
2 or 3 glorious tries.
The combination between the halfbacks, Sangin to the line looks absolutely more of a smile on his face on there. Good early service on there, and the forwards.
Geisha worked, didn't he?
Yeah, the forwards got ripped in. So Macca, well done, son. You did the right thing. You saved yourself your job. You dropped Matty Smith, but to me, you should play again for the Catalans. Not good enough.
I like the idea he was watching the programme and getting tips.
Well, it might be. Hull, woeful at home. What were they, 40-0 down, scored a couple of late tries, and an angry Lee Radford after. We'll have a chat about that as well.
Do we reckon that Warrington secured second? 6 points clear now of Hull. And
No.
Still
No,
think-
not
still
yet.
think
Well,
there's
they got.
mileage?
I don't know if they still have to play them, but they've got to play Saints. They've got to play Wigan. By the way, I mentioned this. I was at the DW. Scully and I were there on Friday after our
Did you
joyous
take-
day at the
take
golf.
that in?
Oh, we did. Yeah, we paraded it around the field. We were there and whisper it quietly, but that was a performance of a team that might just be going back to Old
Could have been
Trafford.
super.
They were brilliant on Friday. For all the stick I've given them plenty. Fair play, absolutely brilliant. Defensively, unbelievable. Attacking wise, they were back on it. They are a threat. They are a threat. They're
George
fourth
Williams'
now.
best game of the season.
Yeah, played well. Farrell outside in, looked destructive.
Hardick at full back looks something like he's getting back to his best, didn't he? But
Yeah.
also as well, mate, and I've said it today in the column, I think the big thing now for Wigan is simple, and the players, they know now exactly what's happened. They've got over the shenanigans of the Sean Wayne situation.
He was there,
That's-
wasn't he?
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
there
Sean
with
was there,
Tony
yeah.
Smith.
Yeah, he was there. A picture taken with Tony Smith. I had a chat with Tony Smith. I never took a picture with him with Tony Smith, to be honest with you. But anyway,
Did you have a chat with Sean?
that's a different story. No, I
Balled
couldn't.
it. I said he's downstairs when he got word of it. Now I went,
I
I'm a bit busy at the minute.
I was eating my pie. I was eating my pie at the time, you know that. And anyway, but the shenanigans what's going on at Wigan for the last 12 months, I think you can see that now. That's all gone. The Sean Wayne scenario, the shambles of the Sean Edwards situation. Adrian Lamb now and the players are quite simple. Yeah, we know we steady the ship's on there. Hopefully Lammy will get the job from there. But that performance from Friday night, as Mark mentioned, yeah, it was sensational, both in attack and defence. And even the last attack from Hulkiston Rovers, Mark, was about 5 seconds ago. There was 5 Wigan players just literally desperate to making sure that Hulkyard didn't score. And we all know the DNA, don't we, of the Wigan defence and their attitude and the philosophy and the desires from the Maguire days, followed on by Sean, and now on Friday night, both with ball in hand and defensive wise, sheer quality.
Can they beat St Helens this week? Are they playing that well enough?
Phil, don't rule it out. Don't rule it out, man. And I say it was George Williams' best performance for absolute ages, because what George did, rather than just waiting for the ball, from the point of view trying to kick and some silly kicks in from there, no. He got himself away from the ruck area, stood himself nice and deep. His creativity was brilliant, his variation was very good. Liam Fowler looked as though he was 22 years of age again, he looks totally injury free. Hardick getting back to his best. The forwards absolutely got ripped in, and the pace what they've got in the centres and on the wings with the service what they got, it was just a sheer quality performance for 80 minutes, both on defence and attack.
And it is all about timing. If they're coming into form in round 21, then They're going to get the week off, aren't they, for the semi-final?
Yeah.
Which Warrington and Hull above them and St Helens aren't, so...
We've
ominous.
Very ominous. We've got quite a lot of stuff to discuss, I think. I want to start by talking about Daryl Powell's new deal at Castleford. Great news for Cass, as is Liam Watt's signing, by the way. That is good news for Cass.
And Society Fecky.
And
Good signing for next year.
Yeah, good signing for next year, but
You seem a bit...
Scotty and I were a bit,
but
I don't know, I had it in my head that it was going to move on. I'm just not convinced anymore where Castleford are.
well, I'm just going to say to you, Matt, you seem surprised that he's staying for this long, and would that be the right thing to say?
Yeah, because I'm
I'm
not...
taken to 10 years, which is a long time.
Oh, look, I'll go back to the point. He built the team to win it in 2017, and they didn't win it. Whatever, eggs is eggs, it's happened. We can't know what about it. They could still qualify for the playoffs this year. I'm not so sure they will. I don't know where Cass are going at the minute. I look at their team and I wonder if their time has been and gone.
The interesting thing on Friday night at the Jungle was that in the first 20 minutes they had enough possession to build a handy lead. And whilst we're not talking about their opposition, they did defend their line extremely well. But it was almost as if collectively, once they hadn't scored in that period of time, Cass lost their way. Now, they obviously didn't have their first choice halfbacks, but they had enough players out there who are top quality players who, with that amount of possession, should have done more with it.
Yeah.
And I think that 20 minutes was where the game was won and lost. The line speed of the team that were playing was very good. And it was almost as if because
Tell us which team they were playing.
we're not talking about
No, Phillips, our team.
I just don't know if I said it to you on the way over. As soon as Truman wasn't playing, I couldn't have Cass.
But I think it wasn't so much that, it was that moving up and getting in the faces of their forwards caused them to make errors, and there wasn't a plan B. You know, when Liam Watts isn't breaking through the line, and when Paul McShane isn't stepping off either foot, there was nothing. I thought Mike McMeekin played very well for them.
He seems to be getting his form back, doesn't he?
But he was like the lone man who holding the ball in one hand, looking for guys to run onto it, getting it out of the tackle, and other than that, they didn't offer very much.
Well, an interesting one as well is that what I've seen from there, because Corey Aston played on Friday night, but it looks like he's going to London, so it looks like he's not wanted, isn't it? As well, you know, which again,
yeah, we've
he's had a few opportunities and not taken them, has he? To be honest.
Got a conspiracy theory from Anthony.
Go on.
We know Castle's best halfback, isn't he? We'll talk about her in a bit. Powell signing an extension is just to protect Castle's interest. Leeds will need to pay more compo now. Get the compo.
They won't pay anything.
If he were moving, he wouldn't have signed a deal, would he?
I think the way that worked was there were some discussions with Leeds. There will have been a price put on him. He will have gone back to Castleford and said, I am available to sign a new contract, but this is what I've been offered elsewhere. And Castleford presumably gave him the offer that he wanted. So that's it. He's now at Castleford.
You're not saying that Daryl Powell has played the market.
I hope he has.
I hope a nice wage, right?
I really hope he has. That's what all the players he deals with do.
Yeah. We're going okay,
by the way, what I want to do this week,
yeah.
because we've got quite a few nice reviews
have to do something.
on our podcast last week, which is excellent because that helps us. We still don't know how these things work, but we're learning. We need more reviews. So what we're going to do, everyone, are we going to say everyone how many copies of your mag have you got downstairs from last time?
You issue out this week.
It's your birthday, isn't it?
It's our 8th birthday issue.
8th birthday. Right.
Happy to give some away.
Are we? How many?
So how many reviews we get?
Alright, send us a review. We'll have to limit it though, to the first 20. I don't want to be sending out 10,000 free copies. I mean, I
There
do
is
that. I
that.
don't know. I mean, it's not my magazine to give away, is it? But
we do one
if you can leave us a review, as long as it's a nice one, it don't have to be 5. We'll go 10. I'll pay for the rest. We'll go 10. You leave us a review, a nice one. You can say whatever you want, but yeah, on iTunes. Is that it?
Yeah, I think
Screenshot us, send it in.
Basically,
we'll send you a magazine.
At least once this week be above Matty Johns. That's the aim. Because we're consistently third. I know there's another one that sometimes pops above us, but as people learn in this industry, it's easy to start doing a podcast. It's easy to promote doing a podcast. I remember getting a press release at the start of the season about the Women's Rugby League podcast, of which there's been one episode. Nice of them to send me that email. But it's much easier to do all that. It's much harder to do it consistently.
Have you finished?
That we have for about 5 years. Apart from when we did, remember when we did the Rugby League and Radio Show All Sports show when we were told not to do Rugby League anymore.
Yeah.
And that lasted about a week.
You're digressing now. You're moving off.
People
So leave us a nice review. Yeah, that's what we want. A nice review.
Ian's complaining. Why are you not talking about Leeds? You're quick to talk about them with your Leeds in crisis now.
Oh,
That bloody Leeds in crisis.
Ian, bloody hell. Yeah, they won. Yeah.
Don't give them credit.
Yeah.
Trent Merrin.
I think I did say they'd win last week. I think that's one of like, I think I only got 2 right this week. I did say.
I think that's what Leeds by. Did I say Leeds by 10? I think. Yeah.
Well done, you.
And I've got a Leeds fan mourning in the.
Hold on, let's go on. You can get stuck in about this then. Is it abusing you, the letter? What's the beauty of all that?
The letters
Ladies.
page. The letters page.
Well, I'm getting aggressive. Yeah. So it's a letter just in there from somebody called Jason Degnan from Leeds. Gary, say it again. Week in, week out, Gary Schofield has a go at the Rhinos. Well, to be honest with you, Jason, how crap have we been? How crap have we been, to be honest with you? Eh? If you don't think we've been crap, get yourself to a well-known bloody opticians. Even when they win, he's still saying they're in big trouble. Hold on, they beat Catalans, and this week I tipped them to win by 10, so get your facts right, son. It's sour grapes. What about this? It's sour grapes, Gary, because you have never been asked to coach Rhinos. Oh, please. Get up there, Jason, will you? Thank you very much.
The letters page in the paper today.
Pathetic, absolutely pathetic.
Is that alright? Have you finished?
Yeah, I've done
You
that.
all seem to be a bit angry today.
No,
I don't know what's going on. Everyone seems a bit angry.
No, happy day. Hey,
Or a bit fatigued.
no, well,
I think it's too much.
Have you over celebrated? Because I heard rumours that you were falling over drunken last night. Is this true? Or?
No, not really. That was in confidence. That's a conversation we had before we came here.
Oh, so it did happen then.
But
So he's admitted live on the show he fell over.
It were like I were playing. What's that game called where you spread all over the place? Twister. Yeah, somewhere.
You had clothes on though.
Somewhere in
He won't have done.
somewhere in my hotel room I finished something like Twister. But anyway, that's another story. But I just want to say thanks
All
to.
goes on tour, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I just want to say to Alan at the Chase Hotel for the hospitality they gave me in Whitehaven as well yesterday. Brilliant atmosphere, good. Unfortunately, the game spoiled it because if I've got to say it, fellas, I was so looking forward.
Top of the table.
Top of the table.
1,100 people.
Absolutely, good atmosphere as well. I was looking forward to a good quality game of rugby league in the League One, but I've got to say, fellas, it was absolutely garbage. It was garbage, and even Scott Naylor about his players, he's just literally ripped into them from a point of view where we can't play. And yesterday it was such a boring game, and also two of the mistakes from these so-called professional players. And if I'm honest with you, if I was giving it points out of 10, I couldn't give it more than 3. But apart from that, the hospitality and everything else.
Did you get frisked on the way out of the hotel, or was everything?
No, mate. Actually, Alan gave me some. What's the word I'm looking for? Some souvenirs. Some gifts. He gave me some rugby beer match. Yeah, with the Chase.
You brought any in for the table of tap?
No, well, the quality. They don't go on the table of tap. No. The quality. Actually, yeah, I'll bring a couple in because they're green. I'll bring a couple in. We'll advertise the hotel. So if anybody's going up to Whitehaven, hey, listen, I can fully recommend the Chase Hotel at Whitehaven. Great personnel and all his staff. But I just want to say again to the chairman, Gary, from there, and all the directors and everybody, yeah, great hospitality, great afternoon. But unfortunately, the Rugby League spoiled it. But hey, listen, a win's a win. Whitehaven got the win and 2 points at the top of the league.
Disappointingly, you don't have match ratings for League One in the League Week because they have the rating out of 5 for all the rest.
Well, to be honest with you, most of the players wouldn't have got above 4. That's how bad it was.
Mate, it's all about winning, mate. It's all about winning. If they win the league, no one's bothered how they play against Scotland.
I agree. A win's a win, and that's it. But there wouldn't be too many who have got above 4. It was absolute dire. But anyway, top of the league.
Compensation for Cumbria not having a World Cup. Yeah.
Which, as we explained last week, why they haven't got one. But
go on.
Leicesters page anyway. Leicesters page and today's League Express is a disgrace. Leeds okay, but Cats rubbish, says Matt. Half decent side with beaten Leeds comfortably. Side with halfbacks would have beaten Leeds comfortably. Perhaps.
Who played at halfback?
It was
Ranky, was it?
No, it was. I think Matauti. I think they put Matauti down at fullback on the screen. Yeah. So no fullbacks, Cass.
Okay.
Trent Merrin, he's a proper captain. He should have been leading the Rhinos as soon as he stepped off the plane.
Well, I think he had some issues to resolve himself, particularly back home, some personal issues, and now he feels settled. He clearly is the real deal.
He is.
I think that correspondence is slightly unfair on Leeds. I thought they defended magnificently, which is something that they haven't been doing very well this year. So there's been a turnaround, which you can read about in an interview with Richard Agar in the new issue of.
Richard Agar, is he going to get the job?
He's certainly there till the end of this season.
Right.
One of the things he does say in this interview, which is very frank, I have to say, is that he doesn't feel any pressure at the moment because he knows he's not auditioning for any job. And if Kevin Sinfield said next week we found somebody to do the job, he'd be quite happy and go back to doing what he originally came to do. So I think he's enjoying himself. He genuinely is looking a week at a time. He's preparing the team on a weekly basis against the specific opposition they're playing. And I don't think even he's looking further than that. He mentions about signings. If he's asked for who they should sign for next year, and obviously Reece Martin made his debut, he'll give an opinion. If he isn't asked, he's not bothered. So he's coaching without pressure.
He needs some PR though, doesn't he? Because for whatever reason,
He says he doesn't because he's not looking for fame.
No, but if
He's not, but he gets hammered rather unfairly, I think.
No one likes him for no
yeah,
reason.
that is a.
Well,
He's a coach that everyone likes to dislike. Not hate's a strong word. Dislike.
I think the
down.
interesting thing is that all the players he coaches, and Merrin's come out in the papers today saying he'd be
They don't
very,
speak highly of him.
very, very high. And I think that means more to him than the opinion of people that don't know what goes on in clubs and what results you've got to deal with.
Yeah, I'd agree. He's always been great in the media whenever I've spoken to him, so I'm pleased for him.
So I think he's there for the remainder of this year.
Okay.
But
Huge game this week. I mean, we're talking
Massive.
about us all as safe, but if we don't win this week, they're back in the mire again. We'll have a chat about that later on. Do you think Agar will get the gig long term?
I'm not sure I'm not sure he wants it, to be honest with you. But still, he's got it. I've spoken to Richie myself. He's a good guy, and all he's doing, as Phil's mentioned, and he said it himself, he's taking it week by week from there. But does he really want the top job? I'm not convinced, mate, to be honest with you. But at this moment in time, he's enjoying what he's doing. He's getting a tune out of the players, and one thing to show what the players are doing, they're giving him the respect what they deserve, and he's getting a tune out of them. It's as simple as that.
I think we all know he comes from absolute diamond rugby league stock, and I think that's what he's passionate about, the sport, not necessarily being a head coach in the sport. His other major passion is development. He likes to develop players, and he's now on a pathway where he can.
What's this also as well? Because I was surprised at that one. But what's this guy from Featherstone going to bring for us? What's he going to bring?
Well, the official line.
Of course, the Leeds have got. There's Robbie Burrow there. There's Chev Walker.
Well, Rob only does.
Tom Dickin out there.
There's only two of them.
Kevin Sinfield, he's on the coaching staff.
Officially, there's Richard Agar and Chev Walker.
Is there somebody at the door?
Is it Brian?
Sorry, this isn't Brian, is it?
He's got more time on his hands now.
Hold on. It's John Davison. We should do it like the
fantasy football.
Let's have a big hello to John Davison. Oh! Yeah, he's here. Look.
And do some questionable comedy because you couldn't even know.
Is he on the screen? I can't see.
He should be.
He should be. You alright, John Davison?
I'm a bit stressed, but okay, yeah.
Are you a bit stressed?
Work
What
never
you going to
stops.
do some work?
Yeah, I've been off talking to Super League players about mental health and whatever, and then battling Leeds traffic, and then trying to file the national papers. But job done.
Job done. Well done. You've been on fire recently with some of your articles, or if I do say so myself.
Thank you.
And you've had a bit of an expose today, haven't you? I think in the old League Weekly.
Yes, it'll be in the iPaper tomorrow as well.
We already retweeted it.
Yes, it's very interesting. I think Phil obviously heard a little bit about it as well, but there's been some talks about private equity coming into making an investment in the Super League, obviously very early stages, but I mean, imagine there's not any big figures being talked about.
Is this what's happening in rugby union, isn't it? I think
Exactly, yeah. They put 230 million quid into rugby union for a 30% stake in Premiership Rugby, which worked out to be 13.5 million per club, as well as I think 25 million into the head office essentially, and then they've also put trying to buy 30% of the Six Nations for 500 million. Obviously, Super League would be much. There's been no figures, but it would be much lower. But I mean, even if it was 20 or 30 or 40 million, it could be a huge game changer for the sport.
The one thing about private equity, though, is that it won't allow things to stay as they are.
No,
it's coming in to make an investment for change, and it will want a return on that investment at some stage. So it needs to see the value of a sport. It needs to see that it's worth investing in the longish term rather than getting an instant return. But there's absolutely no question, if it is a private equity company, all of the debates we've had about the sport going back to franchising, what Super League might have to look like, which clubs in which geographical areas make the sport bigger than it currently is. All of that will be on the table if a private equity firm gets involved.
And I think that the people who have been, obviously there's been meetings with Super League itself and with some of the clubs, so that it's not just the one meeting.
Have they approached us or have we approached them?
I'm not 100% sure on that, because obviously one of the mandates, I think, and one of the things that Robert Elson has been talking about is bringing in new revenue and increasing investment. So I'm not sure which way that has happened, but what I was told, that these people who have been in the meetings, who are representing an investor, are very impressive, and they know that the sport has challenges. They know the pros and cons. So I mean, looking from the outside in, because obviously, as you said, rugby union, MotoGP, Formula One, football have all had private equity investment. Rugby league's quite cheap to buy in when you think about it. It's not like football where you might need a few billion just to get one or two top clubs. You could
have the whole sport.
You have the whole sport for maybe So it's obviously early days, but it's a positive.
It is.
Yeah.
Very good. Have you seen Scotty's new trophy? Have you won that?
I haven't. Is that the only trophy you won in your career?
Don't you start.
Yeah. You'd be nervous anyway Thursday because we're going to knock you out of the World Cup cricket.
Well, I had a funny instance the other week. I was taking my son to school on the day of the last England-Australia game, and this teacher offered me some sandpaper as I walked past, and I just sort of, no, I'm all right. And then I walked in the next day when we thrashed you, and I can't hear anything. So I think is it the song "You Only Sing When You're Winning"? I think that's Scully's.
Oh, do me a favour.
Some band from school.
Warren Smith should be playing in the World Cup.
Scully, how many World Cups has England won in cricket?
None.
Right.
Just wait in a couple of weeks and we'll be off.
Just wanted to check that. I think we've won 5.
Yeah, well, if you win this one, you've won it cheating.
We're jumping on the netball bandwagon next.
Like George Burgess.
Come on the netball.
Right, we're moving on. We're moving on.
Greg Eden's pass, that was good. And he got called out by his coach as well.
Yes.
He's got that in him.
Not so much a Wally Lewis, more a Wally.
Yeah, that's what I went with.
Was it as bad as, I haven't seen it, was it as bad as Cassiano's?
No, what?
What did he do?
It was on the par. There were 8 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Cass had scored 2 tries in quick succession,
yeah.
they had a chance of finishing the game strongly, maybe even winning it. Eden got the ball on his own 20.
From the kick-off?
I think it was just from a general kick.
Yeah.
And he decided that he would throw it as far as he could to chase Blair on the other wing.
Right.
He didn't get near it.
So he ran across the field and
No, he didn't run. He just passed it. He thought he could do a 40-metre sprint.
And he just went to
didn't go
switching
40
ground,
metres.
picked up and scored.
Well, it was
Pretty
forward and from the scrum.
Right.
Probably,
Yeah, cheers, Greg.
Is he trying to get away from Cass the way he's playing?
Well, I don't know.
They've got
He's going away about right, isn't he?
They've got more wingers next year than they have anything else.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting rid of a few, aren't they? They're getting rid of a few. What do we make of this news that the championship clubs no longer think there should be home advantage in the playoffs?
I like how they're changing the rules as things go on. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Just like last year.
Do we know first of all if it was ever stated that the top team would have home advantage?
I will check because
That's one thing. But
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was.
the other thing that I think is a credibility. We hear a lot from certain championship chairmen about the strength of their competition and how well the clubs are run. There's been 2 issues this year that throw their credibility into doubt. The first is complaints about the 1895 Cup. They all voted that they wanted the 1895
Yeah,
Cup.
they did.
They all thought taking Championship or League One teams to Wembley was a good idea that would invigorate them.
Yeah.
They all realised that there were midweek fixtures involved in
Hence
that
why
cup
some of
this
the
year.
clubs didn't take
And
part.
some of the clubs before it even kicked off said, that's fine, we
It's
back
not
the
for us."
idea.
Yeah,
but,
it's
you
not
know,
for us. Yeah.
West Wales, Coventry, North London Scholars, geographical outposts all said, midweek's not good for us, we're going to lose money on that, so we'll not enter. We get to the stage where some teams are in the midweek section of the competition and they all go, oh, I can't have this. It's wrong. And there's no prize money. Well, you knew that when you entered it. So there's a credibility issue there. And I think this is another one that whatever was decided at the beginning of the pre-season, that was, it was set that was the format. To be coming out now, 8 weeks before, 9 weeks before the end of the season, saying we want some definitive change or alteration to the format, you're not credible if you do that. Whatever was decided at the beginning of the year, whether it was made public or not, you all signed up to it by agreeing to start fixtures in that competition. Don't change it. If you want to change it for next year because you didn't like the fact that Toronto were going to finish top, do it next year. But you're undermining whatever it is you're trying to sell. We speak every programme about the Championship and League One are going to have to do some kind of a deal for themselves in the not too distant future. This kind of behaviour doesn't help them.
Okay. Alright, what do you make of it?
It's hard to argue with that. I mean, I think as we saw last year, what was it with the championship was expanded and less teams went down. You can't change it mid-season. It's just not. There is no credibility. There's no fairness to it. And I don't think, as you rightly pointed out, was that ever made public, the home advantage? It seemed to be. It was expected.
Matt Shaw's article says, as it stands, the final is due to be played at home.
On the Rugby League website, rugby-league.com,
which is the official
/2019_structure. Go there now, read this. The Betfred Championship structure expands to a 14-team competition in 2019, with all teams playing each other once home and away, plus a summer bash, ending with a playoff series for the top 5 teams, with the winner promoted to Super League and relegation, blah, 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 blah. And they have a graphic, and all it says is the Championship final is played by the winner of Game D, which is the semi-final, and the winner of Game E, which is the preliminary final. It doesn't say where that game will be.
No, that's
But there
what
is the understanding that it would have been at the home, but I can't remember where that's come from now.
But even whatever the understanding is, that the chairman or owners want change. You can't do that.
No.
It's a bit
Ask
unfair
that
on
question
Toronto,
at the start of the
isn't it?
season.
We've been playing all year long.
All year
If we're at
long.
home, we're at home. If we win it, we're at home in the
exactly.
playoffs.
If you finish top and you're consistent like they are, they want rewarding is finishing top and being the best team all season.
What would the reaction of St Helens if went, well, you've come top, but what we're actually going to do, we're going to make you play away from home in the semi-final. They're going to go,
and the other thing is, I think we had Toronto playing at home in the virtual equivalent of it last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't win.
Yeah.
So, what are the other clubs saying?
It's not guaranteed.
If they don't want to go, we don't want to be going to Toronto. Well,
I think you sort of have most. We generally have most finals at a neutral venue, Old Trafford or Wembley. But the precedent or the sort of the understanding is that they would have home advantage, so you can't take that from them now.
There is definitely a case to say that we need more events in Rugby League, and to have a promotion playoff final at a neutral venue, which has happened before. When the beloved Wakefield got promoted, they beat Featherstone at Huddersfield. When Widnes played, Widnes Castleford, was it?
That was ahead in there, wasn't it?
20,000 people.
And Widnes not go to administration the day after, is that what?
Danny Brough cried because he had to leave Castor, got a Wakefield as well.
There is every logic in saying that this game should be at a neutral venue, but establish that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And if the tacit understanding is that wasn't what was going to happen because we didn't announce it was going to happen, you can't do it 8 weeks out from the end of the season.
It's changing the goalpost while you're in the in the game.
Yeah.
It's madness.
Yeah.
Which of course we did last year by adding an extra promotion playoff game for
And
Workington and
then everyone was on
that
holiday.
was essentially a stay of execution for Rochdale. They were going down last year, and they're going to go down this year.
Well, I'm going to say they're going to need something special, aren't they, in the championship, because they are struggling somewhat, Rochdale, at the minute. Well done to Swinton.
Yeah,
Good
big
win for
result,
them
wasn't it?
over Batley yesterday later on. Well done to the Bulls as well. We should mention that. There's a real danger Toulouse are going to end up making a bit of a mess of this. They've lost a couple of home games recently, haven't they? So they'll be worried. Big win for Fev.
Congratulations to York on being clear in second place. That is phenomenal. Now we're 20 rounds in, 2/3 of the season, and a team that got promoted are a real chance of being in that 1v2.
And with one of the smallest budgets in that division. It's not like they're topped up by, shall we say, Featherstone style with a load of top players.
Big game in the championship is Toronto Featherstone this week. I think all the others are mismatches. That's really wrong to say. They're not that at all. But there's none of the top 7 going head to head other than that one, is there? Before anyone writes in and shouts at me. What's happening on social media?
We might have an exclusive story later on in the programme.
More
I'm doing some research because I was given a tip off this morning.
All right.
And just trying to do some research on it because I might be right. It might be right. But
Our friend Nicholas, by the way,
yes.
from Canada,
Yeah.
is over this week watching rugby.
I'm going to take him to Belgium.
Oh, you're taking him?
Yeah.
Do I still need to make...
Oh,
gonna put him off rugby league.
Why does he deserve that? Why does,
From halfway around the world.
why does he deserve
I
that?
can't be bothered going to watch Leeds and okay.
Yeah?
The shame is for, and we again, broken record, 5 Super League games in competition on Friday night. So we've got a guy coming over from Canada who is a mad passionate fan, just getting into the sport. He should be able to go and watch at least 3 games this weekend.
Yeah, I have discussed this with someone about this, and I'm pleased to say they agreed with me. I think in the new TV deal this might change. You know, I do think this
It's got to do, Mark, hasn't it?
one
It's got to
game.
do.
No matter who it is, even if it's the bottom 2 in the thing, all eyes on that one game, and that will instantly, in my opinion, make the figures bigger, because the people on Friday, for instance, which game is on top? It's Leeds, isn't it? Of course it is. So
But
Huddersfield
it isn't St Helens, Wigan.
Saints,
So
Wigan, Wakey
you've
Cass,
got TV
Warrington,
candidates.
Salford, all those fans can't watch the game. Ridiculous.
And mind you, if it's anything like Salford, Huddersfield, the other night, I'd just delete it as soon as we got in.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
I have to say, Huddersfield were absolutely
There you go.
outstanding, and that possibly is the result of the weekend.
Yeah, I think from being 8-0 down.
And from the young team that they had out, and the fact that they had 2 debutants in there who were both absolutely magnificent. Tom Holmes was superb, and
Yeah.
Ollie Wilson, who a lot is expected, a big fee paid for him as a teenager. Massive impact off the bench, along with the big white polar bear.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Has anyone sent us? Oh, you're doing that.
Yeah, no, it's alright.
I wonder if anyone sent us a review.
It's all,
And if it's 1
I
star,
don't
I'm
know
going to
yet,
go
I
around
don't
and
know
see.
yet, But Andy's asked if it's 1 up, 1 down this year. It is from Super League.
Yeah, at the moment.
2 down from.
At the moment.
Well, yeah, it might actually be
As it
0.
stands.
It might be 0 because they might just close the door. They can do whatever they want. Anthony says there's a good chance the team will have to go to Toronto twice in 2 or 3 weeks. It's all about the expense of championship clubs.
But they know about. The arguers they know about that when they enter the
They're
competition.
paying extra. I thought they all got paid.
Yeah.
I thought it
The
got
flights
paid
have been
extra.
paid for.
I guess the inconvenience, part-time players kind of get time off work, but look, that's the way of the world.
Paul says, in addition, if there's a championship final between Toulouse and Toronto at short notice, the crowd figure will be interesting. But I thought everyone loves rugby league, so they just go to watch it because it's rugby league. Neutral buy-in.
I think it's safe to say that if that game is in Toronto, about 10,000 Torontonians will turn.
Yeah,
because we
exactly.
saw that last year.
Also on Friday, Sheffield versus Dewsbury, says Chris. So there you go, it's another game.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on?
It is a little bit bonkers. Right, okay. We've done a little bit of housekeeping.
Great result for Coventry this weekend.
Yes.
All right, we'll start talking about Coventry then.
Well,
I'll just teeing up there. I'll actually
They
do
were
something. London Scholars, that since they were top of the table, have been in free fall. They now might even miss the playoffs if Workington don't pull their finger out. They lost to North Wales, who won again. North Wales might make the playoffs. It's all happening in League One.
Possibly one of the best results Coventry have had, though, away at the Scholars.
Yeah,
And
it's been a bit of a disappointing year for Coventry, hasn't it? I thought they might have kicked on after last year, but only 4 wins for them.
Making history though this weekend because they will play the first ever game of rugby league at Rugby, the home of rugby, the home of the school, of course, in which, as we all know, William Webb Ellis didn't cheat and pick up a lock. It was all made up by Twickenham to add a bit of mythology to their game.
Lovely. Very good. Right, we'll start talking about Super League for the first
Yes.
time. We'll revisit
So I didn't
Coventry
want-
because
I
we're
didn't
very
want to-
proud of them.
Didn't want to forget
We're
Coventry.
very proud of
Talking
them.
about Leeds.
No, we're not talking about Leeds. We will start off on Thursday night by talking about Huddersfield against Salford. Salford 8-0 up early on. Huddersfield turn it round, as Phil said, Scully, the young lads off the bench, for me, changed that game around.
They sure did, and I think the coach as well, Ian Watson, I think he identified that as well. But Salford again, you know, everybody, we're all saying the same. When they're favourites, they can't win, and when they're not favourites, they seem to put the performance in, as we've seen, you know, a few times this year, going to Warrington and beating them. That's performance against St Helens when they just lost in the last the last few seconds from there. But yeah, Catalan as well. But it seems to just be an attitude problem, doesn't it, with Salford from there. Taking nothing away from Huddersfield, they were absolutely outstanding, and the young kids who have come through, they certainly were outstanding. He got a tune out of them, Wolford, and you know, Wolford, you know, he's coming for a bit of criticism, Wolford, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, hasn't he? From a point of view, not about we're losing, but about what has been said about his players, criticising players. Well, I'll tell you what, I totally applaud him, because at the end of the day, coach can only do so much. The players have got to start taking responsibility for performances. He got a tune out of his players from there. The consistent were all right. They showed a lot of character coming back from 8-0 down there. But yeah, Ian Watson wasn't happy because he felt as though that his players didn't show the right attitude. His Huddersfield wanted it more than them. Well, I'll tell you what, yeah, they did want it more than them, and also as well, they played attractive, quality football, also too intense as well from a defensive point of view to force mistakes from Salford. And it's simple. Salford, when the pressure's on, they bottle it. Simple as that.
I agree with that. I think they're like Wakefield. When Wake your favourites, they never really win. When they're not, they do all right. What do you make of the game, John? Were you watching?
I was, yeah. It was such a result needed for Huddersfield. I mean, they were 8-0 down. They were terrible. It was a very soft opening try, but they turned it around, and full credit to them. I mean, if they'd lost that game, you'd be really thinking the pressure would start to be on them. But that gives them a little bit of breathing space now, and the fact that it was some new players, some young kids, was great to see, because a lot of the senior players haven't really been standing up for them. So
I think they made a really clever tactical switch as well, moving Darnell McIntosh into the centre. It says in the papers that obviously they're looking for a full-back now for next year, because I think the thing about McIntosh is he seems to be a confidence player, and when it's going for him, he is an outstanding
Can I make an observation?
But at full-back, it's a real spotlight position. Every error you make is absolutely.
Yeah, and he's had a couple of high-profile ones that have.
But he looks
Wakefield at home would probably cost them the game.
Looks so comfortable.
But it goes back to the age-old problem at Huddersfield is they've got Jermaine McGillivray on one side. They had Darnell McIntosh, who had his best try-scoring season last year. They've got the two Innis boys can play on the wing. So what do? They go buy a Killer Duarte for a fortune.
They've been garbage.
Who's not set the ground alight. Do they need him? Would they have been better buying a first-class fullback? Would they be in a better position? Yes, they would. And it's all about recruitment. And you just look at all those kids now, right? And you think, wow, you just put some decent players in that team.
I think
then
they have 9 of their 17 were homegrown, which they haven't
I think
done for a long
they
time.
even raised a question on the TV, right? If they've got all them kids playing, right, and they spend salary cap, where the hell's all the salary cap money going? You know?
Well, I think we know by some of the players that they've been trying to offload who are on very high money that no other club
There you
wants.
go. So again, you look at it and you think there's a common theme at Huddersfield that needs sorting out. Right?
But I think Wolford has the respect to the players. I mean, you'll know him from his days in Australia. He's not a man to mess with, but he's very honest.
It's interesting when you commentate in front of him on the radio. I'll tell you that for free. What did you make of the Thewlis thing? It was like Wolford's. It was like they were handcuffed together. Everywhere Wolford went, he was there. What did you make of that?
Well, I think he's been there since 2004, in charge at Huddersfield. Doulis. What have they done in that period?
Well, my point. Why was he going in the dressing room? Why was he going down to pitch side? I didn't get that. I don't like it. What did you make of it?
No, that's bizarre. I mean, I think a head coach, you shouldn't have a CEO, an MD, or an owner. Obviously, I think Marlon used to go in the change rooms at Salford, didn't he? It's just not a good look. It's not. Doesn't set a good example, and I think Wolford's got to take full ownership of that team. I was thinking a couple of weeks ago, obviously when that losing role, maybe we should go back to Skyping in, because that seemed to work. You were a fan of that, weren't you? Just go with the Skype method, coaching by Skype.
Of course he was. What do you make of it, Scott? I mean, you weren't coached long enough for anyone to join you on the sideline, really. So, what did you make of it? What would you have? Would you be happy with that?
Oh no, not a chance, no, mate. But also, I said it last week, didn't I? He's under pressure. He's Simon Wolford, and Ken Davey. I reckon Simon might have had 2-3 matches of games there. So I reckon Ken's has said this to say, I want to know what's going on in the dressing room. I want to know what he's saying to the players, and I want to know are the players respecting Wolford. That's why Thewlis has been there. We've never, at the time that we beat Huddersfield, the Institute when Huddersfield has been on telly, you've seen Thewlis nowhere near. And on Friday night, as soon as he was around from there, he should have been told, get out. Leg it, because you don't deserve to be in here. You should be in here. So no, it didn't look a good look from there. But he just said to me, Ken wanted to know more what was going on. Was Wolford still getting response from the players? Well, did the players want to still play for him? And also too, is the dressing room all right from there? So that's what Thewlis has been Spygate, to be honest with you, exactly in that dressing room around from there. And I reckon he's been told to do that for the man in charge, which is Ken Davey. And he's allowed to do what he wants, Ken, because as we all know, his influence there at the Giants. But Wolford got a tune from his players. I was absolutely delighted for him on Friday night. And as I say, he's come under some criticism himself, not just for the defeats, but the way that he spoke openly and honest about his players, about their attitude. They're not good enough. We're not good enough to win games. We should have wrapped up the game against Castleford and some of the games what we should have won from there. So I applaud what Wolford has absolutely said. Players got to take responsibility. And I'll tell you what, they took responsibility on Thursday night and got a great win for him. They did.
Very good.
But furious for me. The worst one has been Steve Gill at Cass. When Cass won, you think he was the Messiah. Absolutely pathetic. You know, with that song what comes on there, Sweet Caroline, and he's there clapping and this sort of thing. Absolutely pathetic. For me, chief executives and directors, just stay away, on match days, stay away from dressing rooms, coaches and players. Yes, after the game, do whatever you want. But during and before, during and after, stay away.
What about
stay
directors
away.
of rugby? Do they count?
But no, it's... What does he know about the game anyway? What does he know about the game anyway?
Well, they've had 5 coaches in three and a bit years. I mean, so you talk about Wolfer being under pressure. I mean, what would sacking him achieve?
Nothing.
Well, the mistake.
Nothing. But they were getting into the relegation.
Oh yeah,
and I said it last week. Hey, listen, I've been sacked by Ken Davis. So there's a lot of other people as well. To be honest with you, from there. But Ken,
You've been sacked by a lot of
he's
people.
2 people. That's all. 2 people. Don't worry about that. But what I'm saying is here. Ken knew that they were dropping in there, so Ken would want to know what was going on, and to me it stuck out like a mile. With Fulis, literally, he was just literally over Wolford's shoulder. I don't know if you saw it on television from there.
Yeah, no, I did.
He was just literally as if he's earwigging everything what Simon was doing, you know. And
I think the mistake that Huddersfield made, having finished league leaders in 2013, which was an enormous achievement, was dispensing with Paul Anderson. You look back now and think.
Yeah, but Phil, players, unfortunately, coaches have their time, and players have enough of Paul. They've had enough.
But don't management have to back the coach?
No, players don't play for the coach. No, there's only one thing that happens: the coach gets a sack.
I think that's
the players have had enough.
That's
so.
the problem, though. They've perhaps put a lot of faith in players consistently performing, and they've brought in the wrong players.
Exactly. Look at that scrum half, that Fromley.
Yeah.
He's
been very disappointing.
Well, he's garbage. He's garbage. He's absolute garbage. But again, when we talk about recruitment, who's looking at these Australian players? It's garbage.
With the greatest respect to Matt Frawley, he didn't have a great record in the NRL when he came over.
One season.
Yeah, but Phil,
25, 26, he'd only played less than 30 games.
Phil, but you're not about saying that the greatest respect to Matt Frawley. I don't know greatest respect to Matt Frawley, my backside. It's not good enough.
I have
And it's
respect
like,
for anyone
it's
that
like
can lace a boot.
no, but it's not good enough. And it's like Lola here at Salford, what you saw there. Do you know what? He's not good enough as well. Never mind having a bit of sympathy for these players. It's simple. They're not good enough to play Super. They're not good enough to play Super League, and they're keeping like you've got Oliver Russell. He's a quality scrum half from him, and he's not getting it because of that Fromley or whatever he's called. It's rubbish. It's garbage.
In terms of Salford, I think the point isn't so much at the moment Lola here coming in. They certainly are missing Rob Lewis. It's almost like you've taken a spark plug out of the team.
Of course.
That's a business decision. I mean,
I
not only they
understand why
got
they
money
have to do
for
it.
Rob Louis,
They've
also got Tui Lohia's wages being paid by Leeds.
But I just think that that as much as it's helped Leeds, and Louis was excellent on Friday night, that has harmed Salford. The interesting question is, looking at what happened at the bottom of the table last week, we were trying to guess on this show how many points you might need to avoid relegation. Because Leeds and Huddersfield now have 16, does that pull in the 2 teams above them that have 18?
Only if the 2 at the bottom win. And I think now we might be. I think now, potentially, I still think that bottom 3 will be the bottom 3.
Right.
This weekend's key then.
I think this week.
This weekend's really interesting.
Because Leeds, Hull KR and Huddersfield have all got to play each other in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then, if Leeds win both games, they're gone. They're out. They'll be looking at the top 6, top 5 if they win those 2 games.
Hawke have got a great record against Leeds in recent years, and if they win that game, that sort of puts Leeds back.
Leeds after OKR.
And then Huddersfield.
Right.
Yeah.
But if, let's say Hull KR beat Leeds, so that Hull KR, Leeds and Huddersfield all have a minimum of 16 points, does that, and Wakefield and Salford lose,
No, definitely.
are they pulled into it?
Well, they are, because London plays Salford in 2 weeks.
So,
or 3 weeks it might be.
would you be worried at Salford at the
Yeah,
moment?
I think
The
Ian
way that
Watson
they
said
played
after.
this week?
Ian Watson said after. He's worried.
Peter says it's embarrassing. Chance missed again for the top 5 for Salford.
Chance missed again for the top 5, but only 4 points off the bottom.
I'll tell you what though, you mentioned Salford, but I'll tell you what, a team that is getting dropped in the mire, because where is their next victory coming from? Where's Wakefield's next victory coming from?
Friday against
Well, they won last
Well,
week.
me and Rich were just
Wakefield, they won last
talking.
week.
They won last week. They beat Huddersfield.
Yeah, but from now, where's the next week coming from after you saw that performance this weekend?
I don't know.
Well,
Said
Liam
that
Rich-
about plenty of clubs this week.
Me and
this
Rich were
year.
talking to Keegan Hurst today, and he mentioned after the Catlands game that, you know, relegation is something there, you know, they can't discount at this point.
Well, they can't.
Yeah.
They can't. Because that was gutless on Saturday. Absolutely gutless.
Catalan were very good. It was 35 degrees.
So what?
But
Same for both sides.
Well, it was
Well, I think
30
they're
odd
more used-
degrees in Toulouse, but Bradford's still.
They're more used to training it. But I just think there was something about some of Wakefield's body language on Saturday that didn't look great.
That combination with
Bruff's-
Gruff and Miller's not working.
Danny Bruff's kick that went halfway down to the beach at Cannae was one of the worst that I've seen in.
Right, but what about the other one, Phil, when he just started creating it and he just kicked it through about 5 or 10 yards? You could do better with knee bandage, to be honest with you. What about that kick from there? You know, that combination
I mean,
between Gruff and Miller's not
they're
working.
talking about
It's
he
not
might have a
working.
pec injury, and he could have picked that up, and we could be.
Well, that could be a blessing in disguise because
Oh.
Jacob Miller cannot play
It's
with
not
Gruff.
working.
It's not working, no way, man. So Miller now, he will be the main playmaker. So he will get responsible players around him, and the players will then know who is the main playmaker, who they're going to be running off, who they're going to be listening to. Because that combination between Bruff and Miller is not working. Not working. Not
I thought
at all.
Bruff would be the key, the icing on the cake. I certainly did. It's not proved to me that. has it?
No, not at all. And to be honest with you, his form has been absolutely shocking. Shocking, it has. He's not brought nothing yet. He's
Fair
brought
enough.
nothing.
I think we have to pay credit to the Dragons as well,
Oh, outstanding.
who were in a real form slump going into that game.
But as Gary said,
But it's the manner in which they played. I thought they played some lovely rugby, scored some fabulous tries. It helps, of course, when you've got Michael McAlorum and Kenny Edwards and
Hold
Matt
on, hold on,
Whitley
hold on.
coming back into the team.
Phil, they've had them, but it's,
No,
one,
no.
it's one person who's been in there as well, and Matty Smith, and he just took slow and done everything.
And Ginjo did some lovely. Yeah, he was an X Factor player when
Yeah,
he's
but all the players have been playing when Matty Smith's been playing. They do the right thing, they drop Matty Smith, and everything else clicks. A lot quicker, a lot more variation, a lot more speed of thought. Players looked a lot happier, the body language was excellent, and I'm sorry, but yeah, Matty Smith's been a decent player, he's won this and won that and what have you. But unfortunately now, he's another one who's not good enough to play Super League.
And it's not my
Simple as that.
yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree with that. That they, with him in the team, they look, you know.
Everything's
An
sluggish now.
unhappy Guijo is clearly not happy at thing, and now all of a sudden, he's happy again. You know what I mean? It's like I don't
But
know.
all the players looks happy, Mark. Everybody looks happy because everything.
They look like
the
they
speed
knew
of
their
thought
role.
was. Yeah, correct. The speed of thought was quicker. The creativity was different.
Cassiano back on the bench.
The variation was a lot different. It just wasn't boring. Just slow passing, dropping people back on the inside. When he's been playing, it's been too slow, too sluggish. On Saturday, it looked like the Catalans at their best. Simple as that.
Okay.
Are you worried, Rich?
I'm always worried. That's a natural position. That's why I'm excited for Rugby League.
Wakefield Trinity default setting worried.
That's why I'm excited for Rugby League's mental health week. Some interesting squad numbers in League Weekly from the Catalan Dragons. Looking at some of these numbers, dearie me, there's some interesting ratings on these Wakefield players. I don't know what game they were watching. Some players, I mean, I don't want to say they look disinterested or not up for it, but some of them look like Lane, don't they? Without naming
So
any
you don't
names.
want to say it, but you just said it.
Well, I
anyway.
can't name names, so can't, because
Why
obviously
not?
I
Of
could,
course
well,
you
could be
can.
wrong. But you can
Who
assume
disappointed you then?
some of the forwards.
Go on, name names. Who
Some of
disappointed
the
you?
forwards.
Who
Bobby
disappointed you?
Boyd,
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll-
injured, but
Paulie defence was shocking for him.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the Paul is
80
out of
paper.
contract, so
Yeah.
you're not getting kept.
But
You
also,
got an eight.
yeah, that's what
8
I
out
mean.
of 10.
8.
How many?
How do you get an 8 out of 10 when you're beaten by 4?
That's why I thought.
Who did the report?
Was I
Denise
what-
Brady.
What did
Was
they
that
That's
was
do?
Denise
Yeah.
Brady. Is
What did
Denise
they give for
Brady on
Fia?
the
What did
tape?
they give?
I think it was
what did they
Stevie
give-
Wonder.
Yeah.
What Denise Brady on the tape?
What did they give for Fita?
He got a 6.
Well, to the
I mean,
6.
in fairness, Villa got 8 and he had a poor game as well, didn't he? So, but anyways, we know these are a load of crap anyway, these numbers.
Yeah,
are
but
teams,
8,
so I
come
mean,
on.
yeah.
8. No one should get an 8 if you've
No.
lost.
Rubbish. By the way,
Not by that magnitude.
they were
Unless you make 100 tackles and score 4 tries.
they were
They lost 44-10.
but I'm not buying into supporters and
Well, what the Wakefield supporters
well,
did
two
say.
things. One, no, you don't get your money back when you're losing Catalans. Don't be like football. We don't want to end up like football clubs where team loses match, they demand their money back. It doesn't work like that. You don't win every game.
These lads are not on 40 grand a week.
And,
You know,
and the
we
thing
can't be
is,
bothered.
you don't go to Catalan for anything other than to have the enjoyment of going to Catalan. The 80 minutes you go for is the one thing you can't control. You enjoy it for the weekend that it is. So you won't be getting your money back.
Have you not been there? But I've been to the Bash and paid to stay in Blackpool. So anyway, 2, the people who are on the Chester out bandwagon, A, they're morons. B, let's face it, right. Wait for them playing the best style of rugby when they're playing all right, which they haven't for the last few weeks. Since I would say Andy Kelly's been in charge, everyone will say John Keir. We were bloody boring under John Keir, and you know that. But he gets a free pass for it because he's a legend. So why would you get rid of a coach who's playing the best style of rugby we've had at the club for a while and winning, finished 5th the last 2 years? Yes, we're not there this year, but if you remember at the start of the season, when we were all doing the predictions, we all had the top 2 or 3 nailed, didn't we? And the bottom 2 or 3 nailed, and the middle was all a bit of a mixture. And as we come towards the end of the season, let me have a look at the table. The top 2, yeah, they're where they are. Bottom 2 or 3, yeah, and the rest is all a bit of a mixture, isn't it? Everything's going the way it is. What if they still win the grand final, or they can still get relegated?
Yeah,
Have they had injuries? Yes. Are there key players out? You know, the point that was made yesterday, actually, at the women's game was a good one. People don't realise how much work perhaps a Tinner runner and a Matty Ashurst do when they're not there on the pitch.
Yeah.
You can miss your halfbacks as much as you like, but when the people who do the work aren't there, and maybe there are people in the team who aren't doing the work, it's a bit harder, isn't it?
You alright?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm more annoyed actually about the people signing off the women's team yesterday, but they're complete morons.
Well, we'll talk about that in a bit.
We will.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, very good. So
Are
Wakefield.
we close to you breaking exclusive yet? Because
Well, I don't know if it is or you know what it is, and I don't know whether I should mention it or not because I can't find.
Do we need like a time out here?
I can't find.
Well,
I can't
Brian,
find
Is it a world exclusive
It
or
could
a
be.
universal?
It's a world exclusive.
Come on then. What is it?
Well,
Just go with it, Rick.
I can't find the rules on the RFL website.
Right.
So I'm going to call into question the fact that a player in the Castleford Tigers women's team yesterday,
Right.
who won 100 nil.
who won 100-0, I was there, I saw it,
Minus 56.
ka-ching, played in the
Have
competition.
you no shame?
No. Played earlier in the competition for a different club.
Oh. Ah.
So
Who's that?
Frankie Townend, she played for Alton in an earlier round against Widnes.
How have you been made aware of this?
I was tipped off by someone earlier today on social media.
Well, I'm afraid to
Now-
say the game will be forfeited. And
Well,
So Wakey could be going to the cup final. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, come on. I mean, that would be...
Wakey in the cup
That would
final.
be extremely
Hold
harsh,
on.
wouldn't it? But
Hold on.
I can't find... On the RFL website, the operational rules are about the Challenge Cup, but they are obviously about the men's Challenge Cup.
Right.
So there isn't any...
So what you are saying, what you, the Wakefield fan, is saying at Castleford
Throw
Tigers-
Castleford out of the cup and put Wakefield in there, yeah.
Right. There is a precedent though. Didn't they play an illegal play?
Yeah,
They got to the
Factory.
final, didn't they?
Factory,
They got to
We
the final.
can say that Hull have signed a player.
Yes.
Manu Mao is playing for Hull in 2020. Decent signing.
Yes, he's the sort of player you would not want to meet in a dark alley. Probably the scariest player
Went
in
to,
the NRL.
went to prison as a teenager.
Again, yeah.
So,
I wouldn't be running that anymore.
Right, so how's he allowed in the competition then?
What position is it?
Ben Barber's not
Second
allowed
round.
in the competition.
Well,
Ben Barber's not allowed in the competition.
this is the
And
interesting
he's
thing.
in the
Has he got a
competition.
work?
So how is he allowed in the competition?
Am I Robert Elston?
I'm just asking a question. We can't have double standards. I don't know what
We
you
have double standards all the time.
How can we have this?
He was a teenager who was involved in
Doesn't
gang
matter.
violence,
Doesn't
got
matter.
sent to prison, and apparently he's a totally reformed character and doing a lot of work in the community to highlight.
So what's the difference?
Well, it's going to be in England. He's not going to be doing anything in
What's
his
the
community
difference?
now, is it?
And I'm against it against. I don't know him. I have no interest whatsoever. But it's the double standards of the sport. By the way, I don't want Castleford kicked out of the Challenge Cup. Though.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
What's it wait for in the final?
I'll tell you what, it'd be a fantastic final, Castleford
It
League.
will
will.
be.
That we should be able to promote as a sport as being a massive event in its own right.
Well, what I like
There'll be at
today.
least 1,000 fans there.
Well, what I like today, Castle put a thing on their thing
We
saying
want
we are
revenge.
going to get some tickets. No, about getting tickets.
Oh no, they're getting,
They will
both
take-
teams
they'll
are getting
take-
500
They'll
to
they'll
start.
take plenty, I reckon.
Yeah,
They'll
well,
take
I
plenty.
think Leeds will take a lot as well because for those two teams, they now have a vested interest in a major event that they wouldn't otherwise.
Are they
be
playing at
part of.
Wembley? Is that a Wembley?
It's a Bolton.
It should
Oh,
be.
it's a Bolton.
the semi-final.
And they're sending 500 tickets to each.
And who's the final against? Castle Leeds.
Castle Leeds.
It is
It's
good that it's
a
been
repeat
played.
of last year's final.
It's good that it's been played at Bolton. I suppose it's a little bit of a shame it's not at Wembley, isn't it? But
When you see a close up, when you actually get to see her play close up, you do realise how good Georgia Roach is. She's really good.
Yeah.
They are really.
I
Castle-
cast that good aside to win 100-0 or just Wakefield garbage.
No, Wakefield. I think garbage is unfair, and this is where I've been annoyed.
To
by
get beat
it.
100-0, they can't be far off it.
Well,
They'll
no,
upset him now.
no, because
No.
this is the fault of the RFL for expanding Super League beyond where it should be. I think Phil said on this programme before, we should have taken the route of the Australians and had a 4 or 5 team competition. We put 2 teams in there. Castleford are very good. They're full of internationals or players who will be internationals or whatever. Wakefield are a very young side. When we saw the team use Mark, and they had
Whoa,
two
don't
of,
be dragging me into your school.
and they had two
I know nothing about it.
and they had 2 of their key
Huh?
players out missing, at least. The team sheet's interesting because the name there wasn't playing. Then there was obviously going to be a mismatch.
I think it's also fair to say that 2
Have a
years
go.
ago, Castleford women were in exactly the same position as Wakefield's women. They were getting beaten by some very heavy 70, 80 point scores, and look at them now. This is still at very much the development stage.
I want to know, is Roach going to end up going to Australia?
Well, she had offers.
Because she's that good. She's that good. Is she going to get asked to go play in the
Hope so.
women's NRL?
If that's where
What position is she?
She plays
Well,
a
play
halfback, yeah, or
six
loose
or
forward.
loose forward, but why would you deny the opportunity to play at the highest level she could play at?
Well, should we not be?
We should be
championing
encouraging that, especially I think that'll help England's World Cup cause.
Yeah.
They are that good, and Wakefield had no possession. Well, I'd love to see the stats. I think they must have got about 5 sets, and I think 3 of those were in the first 5 minutes of the game. Castleford are really, really good to watch. They live up to the classy cast tag. They're well worth watching. If you have got tickets already for the semi-final day in Bolton, get along early because it will be a belting game.
Well,
11:50.
that could be the game of the
Is
day.
it any different to Manchester City beating whoever they did 9-0 in an FA Cup time this year?
I think the embarrassment is
No.
not Wakefield losing 100-0 to Castleford in a game where they're both amateurs for all intents and purposes. What's embarrassing is teams in Super League conceding 70 odd points
Yeah.
when they're getting paid £1.8 million between them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think people who've chosen this to have a go at the Wakefield team and Wakefield players.
You're missing the point. In my
Absolute-
opinion.
absolute
Missing the
morons.
point. Missing the
Absolute
point.
morons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go
agree with that.
It's
What a try,
embarrassing,
by the
of
way,
course
for Leeds.
Kicking
England
Beavers.
Beavers. What a try that was.
Well, again, when you get evenly matched sides, and we're talking about the Castleford and Wakefield were not evenly matched sides because of the stage they're at in the development. The women's game is absolutely sensational, and that St Helens Leeds semi was magnificent.
Where does that finish up?
16-10.
Beavers
It was
versus
10
Hamlet.
all at
With,
the
a,
end.
with a last minute.
Saints kicked ahead, fullback picks it up, goes 90 yards. Great try, great try.
And Leeds had to kick a touchline conversion to get it to 10-all as well, which no mean feat.
Alright, that's enough about them.
They've
They've
had,
no
they've
likes.
had a good weekend this
But who
weekend.
do
They have had a good week.
PDRL one as well.
Yeah.
They did.
Here's the,
Someone messages about the PDRL.
here's the
You don't
big
have to tell us about it. We know about the PDRL.
Here's the
We've
big
done
It
it.
was brilliant at half time.
Here's the
Two,
big
two teams were magnificent, Castle and Leeds.
better
Absolutely
than the main
magnificent.
game. Here's two
Real.
2 points. 738 at Saints versus Leeds. 913 at Wakefield versus Cass. Plenty making the trip from Castle, but of course the short trip. Very good crowds. Very comparable with crowds in the Women's Super League football, which gets far more media coverage and hype. Challenge Shield semi-finals. Featherstone 38, Army 42 after extra time.
Wow.
Army versus Fev, that'd be a battle. York beat Barrow 24-6, so they will play the Army in the Challenge Shield final, which is on the Friday night, so that'll be the 26th of July at the Menderhouse Jungle at 7-something kickoff.
Okay,
So
cool.
go down and watch, and I'm sure there's something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was, so it can't matter that much. Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
the PDRL boys, anyway, looking for some assistance from some pros. Seriously, they are. They've put a thing out. They want some old pros to go and help them. Pass on tips. I'm not joking. That's a serious thing. If you can spare them an hour one night, maybe just pop down and help them. They've got some good talent there. at
They have
Leeds.
got some, but they've got some good talent across the whole of PDRL. Every time I watch it, I'm in absolute awe of all of the teams that are playing. Cass were as good as Leeds on Friday night. It was one try between them, which was a great try, but it was just a joy.
if you're a masochist as well, Castleford versus Wakefield, 21st of July, the week before the cup final, they meet again at the Mendo's Jungle.
I hope Cass put on a double header and just say to everyone, if you pay an extra 50p, it'll go to the women's team and it'll give them the biggest crowd. Because I know they've got it already, but if you get like a 6,000 crowd, that's a bit of a bar raiser, isn't it? You know.
I think this cup final is going to be a watershed moment for the women's game. I think that.
Well, it's on the big stage, isn't
I
it?
think the last 2 years the game has grown really impressively.
I think you boys were at the forefront of it.
No,
You were. When you broadcast the game, I tweeted this yesterday. I was very proud of you. Rich was on the BBC website, sold his soul to the devil, did Richard Shaw.
A deerstalker hat.
He did. He looked very smart, and I think from that moment on, the whole coverage of lower league rugby league and women's rugby league has taken off. So Richard is a trendsetter.
Part of that was it was a magnificent game, because you can't polish a Watsit, but the actual Watsit that day was fantastic.
Yes.
Leeds won with 5 minutes to spare in a game that could quite easily have gone either way, and the people sat up and went, "Wow, I hadn't realised how good women's rugby
It's
could
like
be."
PDRL.
But
Until you watch it, you don't realise
to
how
have
good
a
it is.
repeat of that final with everything that is now attached to it, with Castleford quite rightly building up the word revenge. People should be going.
Been accused of sour grapes.
Yeah, Maureen has said
It's
that
a
Richard,
fact.
it's sour grapes for Richard.
That's just
Well, you
pointing
should have
out
said
facts.
up. You should have said up, should you?
Well,
You and your ultimate facts,
I
Rich.
thought,
Yeah,
we'd bring
yeah,
I thought
Dobber,
we'd bring
grease,
some exclusive
grass,
breaking news on the
grass.
programme.
Have
Although
you
David says, yeah, get him kicked out. So there you go. There you go.
Have you seen much
Get the
women's
merchandise
rugby league? Because you'll have seen the development of it in Australia.
Yeah,
Now they've gone about it
Only a little
different
bit
way.
here, yeah. I've seen probably more in terms of the test matches. I didn't see the Origin game, but yeah, it's definitely on the rise. I think the RFL, they talked about 200,000 participants by 2023, I think. Obviously, it is growing really well, so it's going in the right side. I do agree with what the guys were saying before about keeping the amount of teams involved in it, because that way you push the quality up.
Which is exactly what they've done in the NRL.
Yeah.
And the NRL have managed to get their sponsors now to, like Holden and
And the media coverage has increased tenfold.
have now moved some of their sponsorship to the women's game. So the season is short and sharp. Origin is one game instead of three because they don't yet feel that physically the girls can do three in close succession. But it's built into the 2021 World Cup, and that's what's exciting.
As Rich mentioned earlier, though, what's the plan for England women? When are they
They're
playing?
they're going to Australia this autumn.
Really? So they're playing Australia and New Zealand?
How do you know that? No one else knows that.
By 40-20.
Do you want to do the Steve Prescott Man of Steel doodles?
Oh yeah.
We will. We're going to mention Delice's comment. I think we should.
Gary Schofield, that's him. The welfare of players are very important. Your comments regarding Matty Smith was disgraceful. You're entitled to your views, but slanging off a player the way you did was unethical. The sport is trying to promote mental awareness. How do you know how he feels?
Rubbish.
Well, they're trying to. They are trying.
Rubbish.
How do you know how he feels after all? He's a human being with a family.
Oh, do me a favour. Do me a favour. Hey, listen, when Leeds got beaten, 15,000 fans ripped into me. Absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
So, rubbish. Listen, as professional sportsmen, whichever sport you play, you're out there and people give opinions. And it's all about entertainment. And if you're not playing well, you will get ripped into it. If you are playing well, you get there and you get loads of slapped octopus. So I'm sorry. Absolute rubbish. Garbage.
We are at this strange point where what are we allowed to say and not allowed to say? I know
Well, it's not school sports day, is it? Where everyone gets
What was
professional
interesting was
sport.
that three of us this afternoon have been at a press conference at Headingley to highlight the fact that this weekend is meant well-being round. They moved it from state of mind to the wider idea of it being well-being. Would have been nice if we'd have been told some of that when we were there and they'd have outlined that that's what it was for. But there were lots of different players there telling lots of different stories, and it's not quite as simple as judging them on the field. I think we're all allowed to do that and pass an opinion. I think it's all about understanding some of the things they go through to get on the field in the first place. And there, I had the privilege of talking to Matty English, 21 years old, just making his way in the game. Had a fantastic performance this weekend.
He did. I'll tell you what, you wouldn't, looking at him play, you wouldn't know he was 21, would you?
No.
Not at all.
But has struggled with the fact that he was on the field when his teammate Ronan Costello, who he looked up to massively, passed away.
Yeah.
And he was talking honestly about that and about how it's affected him as a human being. Now, we can judge his performance on the field. We're absolutely at liberty to do that. You know, why watch sport if you're not going to pass judgment on people? Try and be as fair and objective as you can. So there's nothing wrong with saying Matty Smith isn't living up to the mark, because clearly when he's played, his team haven't played that well. When he hasn't played, his team have played better. It's not a huge value judgment to make. What we need is a greater understanding and awareness of what these players go through other than the 80 minutes we see them. And I think that's great. Some of the story, you know, you interviewed Jared Sammett, who's got a story, Keegan Hurst. The more we understand about the modern player, the better. But it doesn't stop you analysing away for that 80 minutes.
What was that lady's name?
Denise.
Right, Denise. Can I just give you an example? When I made my test debut as a standoff against Papua New Guinea in 1990, and it's the only time Great Britain or England have been beaten by Papua New Guinea. And it was my test debut as a standoff. And yes, we got beat 20 points to 18, and it was my fault because I was absolutely garbage myself.
Not a 7 out of 10.
I was, I'll tell you, and if I'm giving points to myself, and I give myself a 2. That's how bad it was, right?
I think the fans give you that.
That was one point. Just putting your boots on.
I think I give myself 2 because I turned up and it should have been 1, to be honest with you. But the point I'm making here, the slagging off I got from everybody, not just from support, but also too from all the media, and you know what? Rightly so, because they were right with my performance. I never took my bat and ball on. It was quite simple. I had to decide, was I good enough to play at standard international level or not? And I had to grow up there. It was simple as that. So if I had took my bat and ball, I could have quite said, well, I'm not speaking to you anymore, I'm not speaking to you anymore, what you said about me, because they were open and honest. And let me just tell Denise, it's quite simple. What I do and give my opinion is simple. I give opinion of what I see. I don't make things up. And also to what she's on about there with Matty Smith. Did you watch the game on Saturday with the Cattle and Dragons? The answer is there for everybody to see. It's as simple as that. But the point I'm making is from there, if players sulk when they get criticised, that is not my problem, because one thing for sure, even when I was in Australia, and I learned very, very quickly in Australia, if you don't perform to the level where you should be playing, well, boy oh boy, do they get ripped into you. So I learned very, very quickly from there, do not take your bat and ball on when you're getting criticised, because it's quite simple. They are watching everything from there, and they, most of the time, and I know press will get criticised, and I know a lot of players will say about the press, what do you know about the game? You've never played the game. What gives you the right to have an opinion? Well, it's quite simple. They're employed to be journalists, they're employed to cover the game, and they are entitled to their opinion as well. So Denise, one thing for sure, you're not getting any sympathy from me from there, because you are totally wrong.
And I think what people always forget, it's never a personal criticism about the person.
No, it's not.
It's about what they do.
It's what they do as sportsmen. It's as simple as that.
That was the breaking news bell.
Oh, sorry. Do it again. No, don't do it again.
I might call someone.
Do you want to tell people?
Yeah.
Wigan have got a coach for next year. The
Sean
grey
Edwards?
smoke. The grey
Sean
smoke
Edwards?
have come out of the DW Stadium. They've burnt an effigy
The
of
burnt
Dave
Sean
Wigan.
Wayne suit.
And it's you'll never guess who. It's Wayne Bennett's best pal, Adrian Lamb. He's going to be here for another year. So there you go.
Wayne Bennett.
Until he gets sacked halfway through next.
1 year.
Wayne Bennett, the next Queensland coach.
Well done, Talami. Well
So
done.
I think the next announcement is Jackson Hastings will be joining, on the basis of the fact that the agent who looks after Adrian Lamb's affairs also looks after
Mr. Ayub.
Oh,
good old Sam.
bloody agents. Anyway,
Also,
Steele.
I will be second. Also, by the way, I know you love it, Phil, the heritage where Jackson Hastings and Blair Costa could play for Great Britain. Have you seen those 2 performances? Oh, and Blair Costa couldn't beat St Helens. Jackson Hastings couldn't beat Huddersfield. Do me a favour.
Blair Costa
Do me a favour.
Same.
Not good enough.
Do you pick-
Not good enough.
do you
Not
pick-
good enough.
Do you pick a
They
team off 2
They
games?
could play City Country, can't play Origin, so why are they going to for Great
Well,
Britain?
Black Austin did
Rubbish.
play City Country. So you're wrong there.
Once.
Are you?
And how well did he play?
I don't remember 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was quite close to getting picked for New South Wales.
So it's quite close. Yeah. So with my dad. You know what I mean? So rubbish.
You notice those teams are a little bit better.
Rubbish.
Now, I don't know of any respecting people who would write letters under an assumed name to the papers. So I'm assuming that David Hitchen or Wigan is not Gary Schofield in disguise. Headline, Britain for the British. I wonder if the editor of the paper came up with that. My unbridled joy and sense of eager anticipation for the long-awaited resurrection of the Lions, though, it's been gradually eroded by the growing number of non-British players who are being put forward as eligible for the Great Britain squad.
They're not being put forward as eligible, they are eligible.
They're all eligible. We sent them up there.
Australians with capital letters.
So
Australians.
I've said it once and I've said it a dozen times. They're all eligible because we sent them over there 40 years ago.
No, wait
all the
for
grandparents,
this.
great-grandparents,
Not all of them.
Talking about history, you don't know what
Not
you're
all
talking about.
Yeah.
They're all available.
Shocker there.
No, they're all available.
No, they're
No,
not.
they're all available. They've all got heritage.
So Greg Inglis is Aboriginal. Was he available as well?
Well, yeah, they're all available out there.
So you sent
Anywhere on the
Aboriginals
map
from here
that was
over.
Gary, you're embarrassing yourself.
Dig up,
Your
stupid.
victory's gone to your head. You're embarrassing yourself.
Anywhere on the map that was pink, they're allowed to play. Can these players?
What I'm saying is they're not good
Hang
enough
on,
to put
hang on.
international
This
jerseys
is where David goes. I reckon this is a letter that's been planted. Can these players genuinely swear allegiance to a cause when they have no appreciation of the historical significance of such tours? What's going out on the pop?
And fish and chips.
Lee Crooks and his. Oh, anyway, so there you go. That's.
So if Blake Austin's number 1 and the man of steel voting, and Jackson Hastings I think is number 2, and you
Well, let's
are a
find
man
out.
of steel judge, how are they not good enough? If they are deemed to be the 2 best players at
Big
this
Dave's
point in
third. Can we
time.
get Big Dave?
Yeah, Big Dave for Peter.
So give us the voting.
Here we go then. And we're coming up to the end where it's after next week we don't find out who's got them, so we have to make them up ourselves by not seeing the games. Salford, Cruz Leaning 3, Darnell McIntosh 2, Matt English 1,
I'm surprised Oliver Wilson didn't get anything.
Hull and Saints, Coote Lomax
Coots
5,
eligible.
Scottish, Wigan Hull
Scottish.
KR,
How? It's
He's
Scottish.
Scottish.
It sounds Scottish, doesn't it? Yeah.
Wigan Hull KR, Williams Farrell Hardacre,
You reckon? That's your three, wasn't it? Williams,
That's my three, yeah.
Catalans Wakefield, Gigo, Mickey Mack, Willie Armey, London Warrington, Curry, Clark, Davis, Tigers Leeds,
Who did that game?
A fire. Mike does London games.
Tigers Leeds, Jack Walker got the 3.
Jack Walker was ruled out.
Yes.
Wasn't played anyway.
He played in a boot, obviously.
Trent Merrin, Paul McShane
Ridiculous.
got 1. I can't believe a Castle played in the top 3 there.
Merrin was the.
I don't know who the legend was there. I know there was a legend, or someone on that legends panel near me on the press bench, but I don't know if he was doing it.
Who was it?
The bloke off the telly, the one with the microphone who runs on the pitch.
Right.
But if it was, I don't think a Castle should have got there in the top 3. They had a good 10 minutes in the game, but
Wasn't he on the bench match year?
yes,
Or did he
started
start?
on the bench. Started on the bench.
Well, obviously got a point then.
Must have made some impact.
Well, if they won, then.
Well, who's it was on the bench, wasn't he? The Cruz leading. He got man of the match.
Yeah, we come on here though, didn't
So the top 10, Blake Austin 25 points, Jackson Hastings 22, Big Dave and Lachlan Coote 18, Liam Watts, Darryl Clark
So
17.
Great Britain's half-back pairing are leading the man of steel votes.
Johnny Lomax on 16. He's
And the
playing full
fullbacks in there, yeah, he's alright.
Williams, Ratchford, Kelly. Albert Kelly, can he get in?
Don't know, we'll have a
You
look.
wouldn't pick him on the basis of Friday's
Tony
performance.
McDonald's in Australia.
What the
You-
hell happened?
yes,
Were
you
there?
were-
I was there. Well, I mean,
Wow.
it's going to be talking down Austin and Hastings. I think Jake Connor made 1 carry in 5 metres on
Well, is it
Friday.
right
So
that
would
is
you
it-
pick him for
I've not said Jake Connell to play stand-off for Great
Who
Britain.
plays
Well,
then?
can I just ask you a question? Because Lee Radford...
Winnip hasn't played anything for
He's going to
them.
be fit, isn't he?
Lee
Listen, I'm
Radford
having us
comment
for Great
about
Britain.
Connor Woody? Is that
No,
right?
I mean, he got taken off in the second half, and
I heard he got taken off before he got sent off.
What would
he was
No,
moaning a lot at the referee. But to be honest, the whole team were very, very poor.
What the hell, Because I looked at the lineup, it was strong.
It was the best team they could put out. They're fully fit. I
He
mean,
won the West Ham
gave-
play.
Westman played. Yep.
Gareth Ellis was back.
He did go off in the first half with a nasty head cut, but he did come off the bench and, but yeah, they gave away a really soft early try. Morgan Knowles basically just went past Albert Kelly like he wasn't there and took 2 players over the line. And then the second try, I think, was a kick. Now Longo tapped it back in the in goal and one of the Saints players dived in it. And the third try was also from a kick. Snade fumbled it in the in goal and Saints pounced. So there was 3 soft tries, 18 at half time, and then they scored 4 tries in about 10 minutes in the second half. I mean, St Helens didn't actually play that well. That's the scary thing. They were probably a 6.5, 7 out of 10.
14 out of 10 in the League Weekly, that.
I think, you compare it to how they played against Warrington, you just...
Mate, in the golf last week, Scoid got an 8 out of 10 then on the League Weekly ratings. On the golf? Should get them to do the reviews later.
They are I think they are saving themselves, Saints. Last week against Leeds, or the other week against Leeds, whenever it was, I'm sure they just realised we won this. Don't need to bother now for a bit.
It's a dangerous game, but I just think all round, Saints just look ominous at the moment.
So I'll tell you what, they'll have to be.
Wait till it's revealed that they won't be playing at home in the semi-final. That'll derail them.
Even though
that'll make them.
They'll be 25 points clear, but they can't play.
They'll have to be at the best this week because that Wigan side, I'm telling you, very, they put a marker down.
First
Saints,
Wigan game that hasn't been televised since about 2005.
Well, the Leeds OKR game's more important. We're sick of seeing Saints and Wigan. The Leeds OKR game's more important.
Yeah,
so I don't have a problem with that.
Well, there's a huge crowd there because it's not on the telly.
And if there's not, then it's
I hope so.
Yeah. You're looking at the old podcast. What's
yeah,
that?
we're back in Luxembourg.
We're big in Luxembourg, are we?
Yeah. They're trying to go. We went up this week. We did well.
Very
It
good.
was a good week for the podcast.
Alright. Very good.
Let's get in there. Tell all your friends.
Yeah. Or download it illegally on the phone so they get it anyway.
Yeah. Get money on Ian Watson, named next Leeds coach. Here's Andy. Nice remark it.
Well, the number
Tim,
of
25 to 1 on Adrian Lamb.
number of potential candidates is running out.
What, Leeds?
It's still Tony Smith.
Do you reckon? You know Tony Smith.
What about him?
He'd end up at Headingley next year?
I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but
Do you think he'll stay okay?
I think he probably will. I think he seems to be enjoying it. I mean, obviously it depends on the next game.
I don't think he enjoyed it on Friday because they got absolutely battered.
Well,
I think, considering how they have played in recent weeks, it was quite a turn-up, wasn't it?
They just met Wigan on a really bad day.
Yeah, but to be honest with you on that, OKR, the field position at times what they had, they were just pretty clueless. The half-backs were pretty clueless in Maguire and Drinkmore, but they had opportunities in the first half and second half of the field position to put points on the board. But
Don't be criticising any half-backs and hurting their feelings, please.
I've no problem if anybody's feeling with the half-backs, front rows, full-backs or Aussies who want to play for Great Britain. It's as simple as that. But the desire for the Wigan defence were brilliant. But OKR, they got themselves plenty of good field position. If it had been against any other team apart from Wigan, when the defensive commitment they showed, OKR would have scored, I would say, maybe 4 or 5 tries. They would. They would. You know, so they weren't that bad, to be honest with you. It was just that Wigan was sensational, both with ball in hand and defensive wise.
well, no, it's not going to be the next OKR coach anyway, which is James Ford, according to the papers today.
Yeah, that's your story, isn't it,
You
John?
wouldn't rule
He
that
won't be going in as assistant, yeah. I
Well,
think.
were they not? My understanding here, I haven't read your article, so I apologise if you covered it. But it was my understanding they were in talks with him about him becoming the coach.
Yes, I believe they were, yeah.
And then Tony Smith went, I won't mind the job. And they went, all right, yeah, James, you fancy assistant? And he went, no
Yeah.
thanks.
Well, I think
All right.
obviously he's contracted to York, and they want a pretty hefty fee. But also, it's kind of that thing: you go in as someone's number 2. Does that mean you're going to get the job eventually? Who
Well,
knows?
I guess you could thrash those terms out.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I mean, I can see why he's decided to
Is
stay at
it
York.
a brave call from Ford? We like him, we know him, he's been on our show, he's a great coach, we think he's going to be a great coach. There are only 12 jobs in effect better than the one he's got now. If you
Well,
turn
he's
him
full
one
time at
down,
York, so yeah, but it's not turning a head coach job. It's a.
But the fact of the matter is with James Ford, Ford is his own man. And
I don't think he's suited to be an assistant.
no. And I'm just going to say that, John. He's not an assistant coach. He's his own man. He likes to play the game in the right way from there. And when he decides he's ready, a Super League club will be snapping him up because he's getting certainly chewing out his players and results. The league tell you.
is he going to get a Saints gig? Or a gig at Leeds?
Why not? I'll tell you what, we'll be for sure for next year. You know, I know Rich is doing a good job at this moment in time, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have any objection, James Ford being the next Leeds coach. None whatsoever.
Talking of coach movement, you reckon there's interest in Mr. Holbrook?
Well, that's an interesting one that you mentioned. I mean, there's been reports in Sydney last week that Canterbury are quite keen on him. That Dean Pay's lost the dressing room, and Canterbury are quite keen on Holbrook. Obviously,
Where did he have it last?
Sorry?
Where did he have it last if he's lost it? Because I've seen it, where did he have it? I've lost my keys, where did he have them last? I had them there. Yeah. Lost the dressing room.
Good luck telling Dean Pay.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to mess with him, but they are bottom of the NRL. Obviously, Holbrook coached there in the New South Wales Cup, and he's off contract. He still hasn't signed a new contract. So, We're not that long left.
Do you think this is like the barber, where it was always going and no one ever said no and then he went anyway?
It's hard to say, because around Magic, I always heard that Gold Coast was a potential.
Yeah.
Because I think the Gold Coast coach, as everyone knows, is on his way out.
That'd be good for Callum then, as soon as he gets there, the coach then.
I'm sure about doing the
Well,
rules.
Garth Brennan hasn't shown a great love for English players under Sargentson and Joe Grenville, but I've also heard from someone else with Holbrook that they were close to thrashing out an extension. So it is really odd. But you think the longer it goes on without an announcement of a deal, the more likely perhaps he's going. He is a coach in demand. I think he's seen and has been seen. He almost got the Newcastle Knights job a few years ago. You know, he's seen as the next sort of NRL coach in waiting. So
it'd be interesting then if he did move on. Does Richard Marshall step up and set the gig, or how does that work?
Well, I wouldn't have any objections now. Richard Marshall taking on sit-downs. I wouldn't. No, they're ambitious.
Does Ian Watson go to
They're ambitious. They've proved themselves in coaching from there, so I wouldn't have any problems with that. No, not at all. They've got to start somewhere.
No, exactly. You're right. I'm not.
They've got to start somewhere.
Do we often see it? I don't know.
He's done a great job though. You know, from where they were under Kieran Cunningham, just dreadful.
Awful.
Yeah, you got Cunningham sacked, and then
No, you know that Denise is having a pop at me about Marty Smith. You got Kieran Cunningham the sack, and you're not getting slagged off, are you?
Don't blame me.
Living in the past, apparently, Scully, you are.
Don't blame me.
Living in the past. Who says that?
Sorry to have a go at Scully.
Who says that? Who said I'm living in the past?
They're hurting your feelings.
I asked people what their highlights of the weekend were. Rose says the Bulls winning in Toulouse. Great win for the Bulls. I'm surprised they didn't melt because they had the excuses written already before that game for about 3 days. Luke says the Royal Navy versus the Great Britain Teachers game. It's the only game we've seen where a central winger played for 5 to 10 minutes with only one boot. Lost his boots.
Lost his boots?
Yeah.
sounds like State of Origin when Ben Hunt threw Boy Porter's boot into the yards and he played 5 minutes with one boot on.
So if you've got any highlights of the weekend, let's know. Sid says the final hooter at Wigan. Poor old Sid.
Sid was at Wigan, wasn't he? He was going to come and say hello, but he never did. Chicken. Oh, that's my fault. That's a bit rude.
North Leeds.
That's Kieran Cunningham.
North Leeds Leopards in the 16th.
That's Kieran Cunningham saying, yeah, you did get me the sack.
I'm waiting outside. Oh, right. Is there a back way out?
Over the roof.
When's the transfer date? Is it end of August?
Beginning of August.
Beginning of August. So.
Why? Who are you getting rid of?
No, Daniel was. Apparently, he's been listening to it. There are other rugby league podcasts out there. As I always say, too many of the buggers. And apparently, Warrington are in for a prop. I'll get John because he's a journalist.
Yeah.
I spoke to Carl Fitzpatrick today. I didn't ask him about that, but I mean, Warrington are always looking to improve. I mean, obviously they've got Lamatazi and Sileleki Akwala, whoever you say his last name, off contract at the end of the year. So whether they stay on, but in terms of this year, you kind of wonder how well they would fit him in. But obviously Luther Burrell, played quite well apparently in his 20. No, you were there. Haven't seen any highlights yet.
Looked good with the ball. Got a good sidestep on him. You can see that. His play of the ball was dubious at best.
No, fit into Super League then, that's fine.
And he made a couple of good tackles. He did all right, but
he was blown pretty
he did
hard.
all right. Yeah, he did all right in a game that they'd won anyway.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, they had to defend their own line for 20 minutes in the second half, and that will have done him some good. But I was with Tony Ray, and Tony Ray went, if you've got a big game next week, he's not playing and he's nowhere near your team. So. Look, it's his first game. Tell you what, he did. You watched the video on Forty20 on the Twitter. What a fantastic young man! Oh, bloke he is. Spoke really well. Spoke about this is the lowest. I'm on the lowest rung of the ladder here. And you could tell the guys around him were pleased for him. At the end, they were ripping at you. There were a lot of laughing and joking and ripping into him. And he knows he's got a long way to go. He's not pretending he's great. He knows he's got work to do.
Where did he fit in the centres?
Centre, yeah.
Because I saw that Blake Austin went off. I thought surely he'd be the
world's
biggest.
He went off near the end, and he had a lot of ice on his elbow as well. It looked like he'd maybe hyperextended it or something.
Warrington 36-0 up at half time. Were London that bad or Warrington that good?
No, Warrington were good, but didn't have to be great. I think that's the worst 40 minutes I've seen under Ward.
Well, they were poor last week. They were poor the week before as well.
They conceded a try. Warrington dropped the kick-off. They dropped the ball on the first set 10 metres out from line. Warrington scored again. They dropped the kick-off exactly the same place. Third tackle, Abdul kicks it. Like, what are you doing? Go up the other end and score. They got a couple of penalties against them. Warren just went up, scored a couple of soft tries, I thought. 36-0. I think the one disappointment for Steve Price is they didn't kick on, but in fairness, London were better second half. But, at half time I'm thinking, this is it, this is what we're going to see. And then second half they come out and showed enough that, they'll still give their running. They won't chuck it in.
Jeff says we need to get some structure and stay on the topic. That's not how this programme works. Harry, about
You
Warrington.
need a script to do that.
I know,
Yeah.
exactly. Galling and Brand going to Warrington from Widnes, as has been rumoured, apparently.
Well, Gillen,
has been rumoured to be going since he...
he's
before
got
he-
it. He's not going to go part-time, is he? Let's be fair, at Widnes. Well done to them yesterday, by the way. Big win for them. Beating Rochdale.
Kev says, if Albert leaves Saints, we'll have to think long and hard about appointing someone from within. I don't want to go back to the dark ages of a Cunningham type, says Kev. Well, it won't be Sean Long, at least, anyway. He's gone off to the Harley Quinn.
Yes.
At Forty20 Live on Twitter. We never read out any of the social media details anymore because everyone knows them. We're on
You know where we're at.
We're on YouTube.
Just throw stuff at you. Tell it whatever you want.
Search at Forty20 and you'll find us. But make sure you like, subscribe, and leave reviews on iTunes so we can eventually one day compete with Matty John's podcast. So popular in this country, we don't know why.
Oh.
Why is it good?
I don't know.
I've only listened to a little bit of the. I've got a few of them downloaded, and they're on the.
Is it better than
Two
by the
list.
balls?
Oh, definitely not. But he tends to have Sam Burgess and those kind of guests. I think Sam Burgess was very good, wearing his Australian cricket shirt the other day, and Sam was quite open about his.
A bit of burn it on Thursday. Don't worry about that.
George Burgess got a future in the NRL?
I think he's got a future at South Sydney. I mean, I think he actually got for 9 games he got lucky because I gouged twice. And I'm sorry, but you've all seen the footage. You can't defend that. And even worse, Shane Richardson coming out
realise-
saying it's a
realise-
tragedy. Well, the tragedy is Robbie Farah's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he was on the air at South Sydney before that happened. I think Parramatta were interested. So
I've read his explanation from there. He said, well, I didn't mean to have my hands near his eyes. Well, it's your hand. You know what your hand
it's
is.
hard to tackle someone, by the eyebrow.
You know exactly where your hand is. You know what your fingers are. I wasn't biting. To me, it should have got 12 months.
Well, that's the thing in your day and the people you were playing against. I think Les Boyd got 15 months. I think Steve Lennane, I heard he might have got 20 weeks for eye gouging. However, in the future, we're more lenient on foul play now when we know about concussion.
Chris Mortimer gouged me. Yeah, it's not a nice
Steve's
feeling.
brother.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris Mortimer. Yeah, Chris Mortimer gouged me and went played with Balmain against.
You probably deserved it though.
That's a bit harsh.
You were sledging him.
He only asked you to go at the back.
But it's not.
So you played in that area.
In that area,
and cheap shots and.
Gouging's the.
That's the lowest of the
It's the
low.
lowest of the low. I don't know what's gouging or being spat in the face. You know what I mean?
So if he comes back to Super League, well, he's never played Super League, but if he comes back to Super League, do we herald that as a good thing though? Even though he's come on the back of 2 blatant eye gouges in the last
He'd
9
have to
months.
prove himself. He's a good player, but he'd have,
He's
to,
a very
prove,
good
he'd
player.
have to prove his character.
And he's a name too. He's a star. He's an England Test player.
Talking of injuries, should we be worried about this story that's come out in the NRL that CTE has been identified in 2 NRL players that played over 150 games?
Definitely.
That a potential class action is now being considered by
3.
Sydney
Yeah,
lawyering
3.
firms.
Yeah.
The game could not afford to go through what the NFL has gone through, and these solicitors are going to allege that the sport didn't do enough, knowing that players were likely to suffer long-term effects of consistent knocks to the head. I mean, we've seen some players been forced to retire early. There's research ongoing. Players like James Graham, Peter Stillen are now going to donate their brains to medical
Yeah,
science.
but that's not going to. I mean, with the best of the world, we're not going to know about the benefits of that for years.
Yeah.
But as should the sport be, were you
Oh,
worried as a player of the cumulative effects of head knocks later in your life, or was it something you never even considered?
No, not considered, because listen, at the end of the day, we're playing a contact sport, and it's going to happen. I've depressed my cheekbone twice. I've been concussed 2 or 3 times. It's not very nice, but we're in a contact sport, and accidents happen. I depressed my cheekbone by twice, and concussed with it. Just by accident. I went to tackle a second row low, he stuck his knee out and smashed my face in. And then we played York at Heading in the pre-round of the Challenge Cup. Tackled their stand-off, went round the hip area, caught his hip and smashed my face again. And as I said, I've been knocked. Mike Kettridge, he put me in hospital for 4 days. Then we played at Cass, he came with the knees and knocked me out for 4 days from there. But unfortunately, it's a contact sport. And it's going to happen.
Well,
it's going to happen.
Have you got teammates though of your era?
No,
who
no.
are maybe suffering from
nobody
from
from our day complaining about loss of memory or headaches. Not that I'm hearing at the moment. No.
This is where we go back to the other week on Twitter and an ex-pro espousing and Scully might agree with this, bringing back the shoulder charge. The problem is, and having to go at people who banned it, the people who ban these things are not doing it to take away your masculinity. They're doing it to try and make the game as safe as possible. We're in a world where boxing is legal and mixed martial arts are legal, in which the whole idea is to knock people out. Yeah. So it seems ridiculous that we're talking about this, but people are trying to make it as safe as possible, not to take away your masculinity, not to show us how hard you are. Let's face it, rugby league is about skill, not necessarily people bashing each other. If I want to see bashing people, I can go watch boxing or MMA or wrestling. So I'm not interested in hard men, I'm interested in people who are skillful, and we're trying to make the game as safe as possible for people out there. And
what do you see when you see a player gets dazed? You know, you can tell. They get up, they're staggering over. What's the first thing they do when they're defending? They run back into the defensive. It's like they're drilled in, it's ingrained in them. You've just got to keep going. I compare it to soldiers. You keep going until you cannot, you're either dead or you're shot or whatever, you're blown up. And that's what they like. That's what they like. And if you left them to it, they'd stay on.
I think that's the issue about leaving them to it. Have we waited too long to bring in an HIA?
Today, I don't know about that.
I think that's going to be the legal issue.
There's been, talk, a statement made in Australia, I think, about reducing the 10 metres and tackling below the, there was mass uproar about that in rugby union. They said, you can't tackle below the but they seem to have done it, and all these red cards have stopped.
You see, also as well, and the next step then is going to be, because as we know, from Craig Bellamy and Michael Maguire with this wrestling technique and wrestling coaches and getting 3 and 4 numbers in the tackle. So then if we are going to stop this, then for me, then the next one is going to be, can only be 2 men in the tackle.
Well, that was mentioned.
Short the yardage and 2 men in the tackle. That'll make a massive difference to the game.
I agree with that.
I think when you talk about concussion and head knocks, and obviously rugby union are quite fearful of it. The problem is if you can have a direct link to CTE with rugby league or repeated concussion, because you mentioned boxing, and I think it's 3 months or 6, however months, they're concussed. They're quite hard on it. In rugby league, you concuss 1 week, you're back the next.
Yeah.
But the worry is the next generation. So if you're a mother or a father and you're seeing this ex-player, that ex-player, struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever, do you say to your 5-year-old, here's a rugby league ball, go on? That's the concern. Because obviously participation in every sport is struggling.
I'm not convinced by that. I'm not convinced. I think if you say to a youngster you can earn 200 grand a year playing rugby, that's more of a I want to be a rugby player rather than I'm going to hurt my head. I don't think that's the issue.
No, it's more for the parents. Not for the individual.
As a parent, I don't know. I mean, my son never played rugby really, but he plays cricket. They've got to wear a helmet, can get it on the head. These things happen.
I don't think. You look at what happened to the guy who's the batsman whose name escapes me.
Phil Hughes.
I don't think there's an issue. The issue isn't going forward because I think we have protocols now and they're only going to get tightened. So if you're a parent, you know that any injury your child is going to get, then there is a protocol to withdraw them from the field. And we are now acting in a way that we are protecting the players. I still think there are some issues where you clearly see guys who are on the field that shouldn't be on there. Or there are guys that go down with what looks like a head knock that don't go off for an HIA. So I think there's a little bit of tweaking we need to do on that. But this is more about historically. Did we do enough in the days where attacking the head was acceptable to protect players who in later life are now struggling?
I think
there is a fullback that I watched that played in the 70s for Castleford who now is part of a dementia group. He's not the only one. And I would hate it to think that because of the rules that were applied when we were watching the sport in those days, it hastened what he is now going through. And the worry for the sport is if lawyers do find that is true, that could bankrupt the sport.
It could do. But you look at football; they've had the Jeff Astle fine, and they've done nothing about it. you look now, I've seen it and I've mentioned it a dozen times more. You see a player, clash heads, blood everywhere, like guys like, "Ooh, stick a bandage on, you straight back on."
I
And you
think
think,
that's
that
football.
cannot be, that's not right.
And that's going
And
to
they do it, well, it is going to change, but you're going about getting, so, well, they've known this now and they still haven't
Yeah.
changed the rules. I think they will shorten the thing. You look at the kick-off, when there's one guy running from the halfway line, there's one guy running from the goal line, and you look at those collisions every week, that must be the toughest carry, or the toughest rugby league. And why is it? Because they both get 25 yards to run at each other and break the hell out of each other. I think that needs shortening.
The sport's hard enough on its accidental, as we've said. I don't know if you've not seen Danica Prim of Leeds get battered by Chantal Kroll of St Helens, who has the hardest head in rugby league.
I think it's
Bashing
James
Watts
Graham.
off. No, it's her. I'm telling you. Go
You
look
didn't
at
get
my social
offended,
media.
did you, when your friend got hit?
No,
You sure?
I don't know who wants to win the final because, like, I don't like Castle, I don't like Leeds.
You don't know. Hold on. You don't know you want to win the final. You try to get kissed.
trying to get one
out of
thrown
it.
out. So you do know.
So you do know. You want Wakefield to win.
Terry is a Cass fan. He was there yesterday because he took some great pictures. I've seen them on social media. And this kind of segues into what we're saying there. Is there any excuse? See, there is a plan. Is there any excuse for a player not being sin-binned in a televised game with multiple replays of incidents that subsequently received bans? Brackets, and Phil knows what's coming. Brad Singleton's late hit to Liam Watts' head.
I haven't seen that.
It was late.
What has happened whereby the video referee used to always be, "Oh, I've seen it, yeah, right, you're going in the bin." It doesn't happen now. And there was one the other night, I thought it might have been at Salford, and you think, "Oh, he's good, he's sin bin him here." And he didn't happen. You think, why is that not, why have they not picked up on that?
Yeah, that's poor.
Has there been a change there or not?
I think they have tried to peel back the interference from the video referee because it's obviously a controversy. But when it's blatant foul play like that,
we would do
it all it takes is a word in the ear and
Was
say,
it? Is that the one?
for staff, yeah.
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 I couldn't remember which one it was, but
yeah.
Look, I think, I mean, you made a great point about, are we strict enough, or do we, how do we look back at stuff? There's foul play every week, and I know Hudgell had his moan the other week, and I had a bit of a pop at him because I thought you're after timing really, because his player got banned, it were an issue for him. I think there's too many examples of players getting injured and nothing being done. I know Wakey have had a few. Ulker obviously got a couple there considered. I know that all the clubs, if you said right, they would come up with a list and say, well, that one, we're not happy about it. And then it needs to be better policed, I think. I need to get really harsh on foul play.
I was at Huns at Newcastle yesterday, and the amount of high shots, and a lot of it was just niggle, but that just was building and building that the referee did nothing about was amazing. Yeah. And then you get a couple of fights and that sort of thing, because that's what happens if you don't. If you don't reel that in, it just builds and builds. Yeah. So we do have to be harder on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like the old bring back the biff and all that. Let's be fair. One of our colleagues got assaulted, and look what it's happened to him. We should not be condoning anyone hitting anyone, and this bring back the biff is ridiculous.
They want to be
hard. It is. I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous. I don't want to see it. I want it to be a tough game, but not like that. And I think we need to clamp down on stuff. And I think if you're right in what you say about the concrete, you need to just say, right, from now on, if you throw a punch on purpose, you get banned for 6 weeks. You'll stop it.
Then a lot of these wannabe hard men in rugby league aren't even anything of the sort. But the hardest ones are the ones who just get on with their job.
Yeah. I think hard now is making your 50 tackles and your 20 carries. That's how we should be judging hard people, not going around brain folk off the ball or, And another one, I think it's gone away a little bit, is attacking the kicker. I think that has gone a little bit, but again...
Well, that's creeping in a bit though, Matt, to be honest with you, and it's not getting punished. It's creeping in a bit.
Yeah, it is. Maybe.
It's creeping in a bit. It is.
I think it's more the playmakers getting hit when they've taken the ball on and passed the ball out late, and they're not expecting it.
But again, there's been people have been cited, that's been flagged up on people numerous times, same people. Never a ban. It's like the old, dangerous contact will let you off, don't do it again.
Well, we haven't defined what dangerous contact is, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah. So maybe we need to look after the players a little bit.
Well, I think one thing this whole topic about concussion is going to do, it is going to highlight player welfare.
Yeah.
Retrospectively, it is still a worry that we don't want to see anybody in later life suffering the effects of playing the game. I get that it's almost like they sign a disclaimer by agreeing to play in the first place, It's like you get in a Formula One car, you know there's a chance that you might not ever get out of it, but the fact that you get in it is your tacit approval that you understand the mechanics, literally and metaphorically.
Well, it's the old bungee jump, isn't it? You have to sign your life away when you do it, because there's a chance it might go wrong.
If our rules were wrong, and it was down to us to change those rules to protect players in a different era, and they are now suffering as a result of that, we are liable.
Well, you made a great point. You know, we are now getting to the end of the first batch of fully professional Super League, and we're seeing players injured and can't walk and all that. So
we have to be.
You've got to react to that, I think, now.
Talking of referees, very briefly.
Yes.
Just like to pay massive tribute to the referee of the Under-16 Cup final yesterday.
Is this because your team won?
No, I'd just like to pay tribute to the referee.
How many penalties did he get?
No, he was even-handed.
How many penalties did he get?
We didn't count the penalties. I suspect there were.
Did you win the penalty count?
He was well. I don't know. He was.
Oh yes, you do. Did you win the penalty count, Phil? We don't sit on the fence on this show. Did you win the penalty count?
If we did, it's because the other team.
Was it a youngster or
if we did?
He was a young guy who had the utmost. I mean, it was potentially a difficult game to control because again, it was two teams that had played in the same final last year, and it got a bit tasty. His signals were brilliant. The way he talked to the players was brilliant. He was even-handed across every decision he made. He was consistent. He penalised both sides for moving off the mark. So, but I don't know what his name was. But
well, you should have found out.
Whoever he I shook him by the hand at the end as he went up to get his medal. I'm sure we can find it out. Whoever refereed the Under-16 Cup final at Batley yesterday, you are a star in the making.
Did you win the penalty count?
No, that's good.
Well,
that's good. I like that. Well,
I think in the second half we probably had more possession.
If only you'd have asked his name, we could have thanked him.
Is he available for Origin?
For next week, I will find out his name.
Make sure you do. Half a job. Half a job.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Half an eight Kaplan, half a job Kaplan.
Daniel's asked, did you see the late hit on Austin by London? That saw him go off.
Is that well? Yeah. I thought he went off with his arm though, didn't he? Not his head. It was his arm that was the problem. I'm surprised he was on the field as long as he was, by the way. Someone asked me earlier, was I taking the mickey out of witness beating Rossi? No. Important win for the club. Absolutely important win. No,
they were in danger of being dragged.
They lose that game.
If they lost.
They lose that game, he's still a point above the bottom. No chance. No, it was not being sarcastic.
I don't think we've missed much outside of Super League that we needed to mention.
What was Newcastle like? Because Newcastle obviously coming up on the rails. Scully told us that wasn't the greatest standard, Whitehaven and Oldham. Newcastle, could they get promoted this year?
Yeah, I think they could. They weren't great in the first half, but they just dominated the second half. I mean, Hunza couldn't really get out of their half. And they've obviously got some very good players, Newcastle. They've invested a lot of money. They're not, I don't think they're going to sweep it, but I think the question is if they don't get promoted, what happens? Because they have invested a lot of money. They've got Simon Finnegan as coach and Dennis Betts as director of rugby, and at least two ex-NRL players, recent NRL players on their books. So, they did. There's some nice, did some good things.
We were going to ask Gary what he thought about the situation at Keighley, but I think we run out of time.
Yeah, he'd be upset.
No, one word, a joke.
That's 2 words.
Well, I haven't been rude. Roll, I haven't been rude. Have you just mentioned Phil Ladd?
Well,
I was. No, has it just been? Sorry, I was reading something.
I was intimating.
Right, Tim Steer.
And to Tony, sorry, no, the legend hasn't seen the biscuits because they're over here.
Tim Steer, our colleague,
yes,
has written this interview. Right, it's what you miss
Cougars decision
in your life that annoys you, said Ladd. My son David plays cricket. His son plays cricket on the nights that we train, so I was missing that. My 3 granddaughters came to tea one night and I couldn't see them because I was over in Keighley. I didn't realise how important all the things were, and so I was missing them. What is that? Not the worst excuse ever? Right? I'm not being rude, right? That is, Phil Ladd, the worst excuse I've ever heard, right? I acknowledge the reason.
Oh, we know Scully.
But you would have known that when you took the job. Oh, so and so plays cricket. I'm sure the wife went, well, David or whatever plays cricket. You go, what's them?
Yeah.
They come over. That is absolute crap. That is crap. I'll tell you what, we laughed at that decision and we're laughing at it now. Well done, Keighley. You've just sacked a bloke that tipped his guts into the club. And you got another guy who thought was better and he's walked out.
The
Where's the man? Richard. I'm just giving it from
All right then, all right. How
Eat
many did you
first,
put in
eat
at once?
first, and then talk.
How many did you put in at once?
Enough to start sweating.
The guys who took over from Keith, they're an absolute joke as well. I can say that for nothing. And I say sacking a lad like Craig Lanyard, who was still there with all the adversity what went on with Steve Gill and that's Shane Spencer. This lot are a complete joke from there. And I know exactly what's going on because I spoke to people at Kidd regarding the full line situation from there. And yes, I totally agree. That excuse what he has come up with.
Pathetic.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely
It's pathetic, Gary.
pathetic.
I'm not. What an. You know what I mean? What an excuse. I can't. I read it. I was laughing, thinking, is this actually gone out as an official statement?
Phil Lauder was dubbed the Sir Alex Ferguson of rugby.
By who?
By
Phil Lauder.
by Mick O'Neill.
Mike O'Neill. Yeah.
Fergie won loads of things, didn't you? I remember.
Is that like Billy, Greg Eden, the English Billy Slater?
They're an absolute. The people who run in Keighley are an absolute joke.
Well, yeah. I just think.
Yeah.
I think they've got what they deserve
Correct.
there by getting
Absolutely.
the Lingard. They were
Correct.
doing all right at the start of the year.
They
There
were.
was no reason to make that change.
Can I say, because I know I am anti-Keithley because I've been accused of it.
Aren't you, Keith? What, you trying to get them kicked out as well?
We love Cougars, but
Yeah, but what about the Keith Cougars?
Dear.
that's what we're sinking to, listeners.
You just killed someone on the podcast. Someone just died.
We're getting on the Rugby League
Can't
banter
even
bus.
stop it ringing.
Free Sports is going HD. We want a part of it. Good luck to them this weekend because having a big Pride event to try and get people to go watch West Wales Raiders. So hopefully they get a lot of people down there. Katie Price is going to be there.
That just tells you what a joke it is.
If we were,
Katie Price about
Is he playing on the wing?
well, this video
She's
tag was
coaching the
explicit
team.
on Facebook, but I'm not going to do the joke about Scully and the last time he was at the Cougars and his comparison with Katie Price. Raggy Chase, good luck to him. He's coming back.
What do you mean my comparison with Katie Price? What comparison is that?
I don't know, just what people describe you as.
Right, let's move on.
I'm not sure if you mentioned it before I came in, but me and Phil were talking earlier. I mean, Wayne Bennett said that if Kevin Walters goes, he wants the Queensland job next year. Would that be the record? South Sydney, England, Great Britain.
How many jobs does he want?
That's what I mean. 4 jobs.
And he's a young bloke.
What,
so
does,
it's
he
not
not,
bad.
does he not watch his grandkids play cricket?
Does he not want to be at home? What's wrong with
How
this?
would he,
No, he's England,
how would he
Great Britain.
coach Queensland in Origin and be in England for our mid-season international test?
What
On that
means
same
Is he that good he can be in 2 places?
It's alright, we haven't got one, don't worry.
We'll
Right, we've got to move
have
on.
next year.
We've got to move on. It's nice to have someone on the show that actually does well with the predictions. So John's here to try and up our average.
I was alright last week. What about the Wigan fans?
Hull KR by 10.
What
They
about-
were abusing him. We were live on national radio and they were abusing him on air.
They did that yesterday when they mentioned it.
Who did?
A national radio station mentioned how poor you were at it.
Oh.
Did they?
Mm.
That's very good.
Mm.
I'll send some flowers by way of thanks. Hull FC against London Thursday night. John Davison.
I don't think Hull could be as bad as they were on Friday. Radford was pretty blunt without naming specific players. He was pretty scathing. So I think expect a big response from Hull. I think Hull by 14.
Yeah, relatively the reaction only certainly from the last 2 performances, to be honest with you, from there in London. Yeah, they're just on a bit of a down slope out there. They know the fixture is from there, and yeah, it will be a tough time. And I don't think this will get any better. You know, they weren't very good at Castle, they weren't very good for the first 40 minutes this week against Warrington. Rallis wants a reaction, he'll get one. I'll go the black and whites by 36.
I think London
That's a
are,
hell of a reaction.
London are in what Danny Ward has self-acknowledged they will have a little bit of a dip at the moment. I just think the problem for them is that some of the key players that have caused such havoc in the games that they've won just aren't hitting that level at the moment. It's a shorter turnaround for them as well. They played the day after Hull did. I can't see London winning this week. I think they probably do have some bigger battles.
Got back-to-back home games, Saints and Salford to come.
Yeah, I will go Hull as well, and I think they'll win by 22.
I don't know the number of it. Hull will win this one, but it will be interesting how London do bounce back from that one. Hull have got more to play for in terms of that run for the top 3. London, they've got to pick their wins in the right place now, haven't they? Or pick their games in the right place, and I don't think this is one they can go on and win, which means they will go on and win now. But I'm still sticking with Hull. I've no idea what I'm saying. Hull by 22.
Okay, I made a resolution about a month ago on this show that when you all agree on one, I'm just going to go for the opposite.
Right.
Oh, you can't on this one. No way.
And I've never done it. And then last I said to you, we all went for. I forget who we all went for last
Yeah,
week.
but
Salford.
No, but Mark,
You're
you're a respectable journalist, you're a respectable pundit. You can't go for London on this one, even though we've all gone for Hull. Can you?
I'm with Phil. I think the worry I've got for London, and I asked Danny Ward about the mental high having been 3 wins and they've had 2 poor performances on the back. They've got to have a dig this week. It's as simple as that. I do expect that they get beat, but just on the new rule that you've all agreed, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go London by 2.
Bonkers.
There you go. I have to say I agree with that.
At least one of us will be right.
Huddersfield against Catalan, John Davison, Friday night.
Well, I tipped Salford last week, and I think I tipped Wakefield. So I probably would say Huddersfield. Just the effort that they put in. Those young players really, caught the eye. Catalans, great win for them, but again, away from home, you never really know which Dragons are going to pick up. And I think Huddersfield still need to keep picking up wins to push themselves out. So I would say Huddersfield by 10.
Yeah, both coaches got a reaction last week, didn't they? And they made big calls. They dropped Frawley, or Fromley, whatever they call him, at the Giants. And Martin Smith got dropped to the Catalan Dragons. Well done to the 2 coaches, wanted a reaction. And they got it. And so the Catalan Dragons, I just feel as though the forward pack will be too big and too good for the Giants, to be honest with you, from there. And yeah, Martin Smith dropped. You'll be happy again, Denise, to be honest with you, from there. Catalans are moving forward. I don't think there'll be much in it. I'm going Catalans by 7.
7.
Really interesting, this one, because I don't think there is a form line in it at all. I wouldn't have picked the Huddersfield Revival last week by the magnitude of it. Had they sneaked a 1918 Golden Point drop goal, maybe, but they absolutely obliterated Salford with a refreshing brand of rugby with a mainly young team. And again, so we talked to Matty English today, that they're confident. They think that was an important result for them and that it justified a lot of the hard work that they've been doing. I think they can win. I've just got a feeling that the manner in which the Dragons played is the start of their revival. They've had their slump, they had a really bad month, and they know that they just clawed them back into the 5. They could quite easily be out of the 5 again this week if they don't win, and for that reason I'm going to go the Dragons by 4.
Huddersfield were sleepwalking their way into relegation last week, but now they're back. How much of that Catalans win was down to how bad Wakefield were? How much of Huddersfield win was down to how much Salford were bad? I'm going to just side with Huddersfield narrowly. Huddersfield by 4.
Huddersfield, the bravery of youth, if you like. They clearly, the young guys don't care. They're not frightened of anyone. They have a go. But I'm with you, Phil. I think the Dragons turned a corner last week. They're going to get a big physical presence in their face, Huddersfield, and those young guys are good. They're going to have to be even better this week, and I'm not sure beating Salford after they've just lost one of their best players and it's announced that half the squad's going is as great an achievement as it could be. That said, Catalan beating up Wakefield, probably not the greatest achievement either. I think the Dragons will win it. I think they'll win by 14. Leeds Hull KR, big game of the weekend. It's got to be, it's on the telly.
Another tough one. I just think Hull KR, I think they're all right. They've got a great record against Leeds in recent seasons. Or they've beaten them twice already this year, I think. And they need a win.
1-1.
1-1. Okay. Well, doesn't sound as good. But no, I just think Mitch Garbutt going back, Danny Maguire.
If he's fit.
I just think OKR they'll turn up this week. Maybe they didn't against Wigan, but I think they'll get the win by 2.
Yeah, certainly. Tony Smith will want a reaction from his players from there, and OKR will come Wigan. They'll come to Wigan, don't they? From there, and I just feel as though Richie Agar's getting a tune out of his players, and certainly Mirren's taking over the captaincy from there, and he's setting the example. Parcell coming back to Leeds, he's so much looking forward, so we know what he did on his debut for the Rovers from there. Could have ex-Leeds players, but I just feel as though Leeds The confidence what they've got at this moment in time, be a great atmosphere, be a good crowd. I'm going to Rhinos by 10.
What I'm really looking forward to more than anything is the atmosphere in the ground. I think it's going to be absolutely rocky. Hull KR always turn up with a great following, a loud following. I don't think there's anything between these two teams at the moment at all. The obvious ex-Leeds contingent is going to be a factor. They're going to be incredibly highly motivated, but no one more so than Tony Smith. He'll get a magnificent reception. And he'll know exactly what it takes for his team to win this game. I think it's going to be incredibly close. But I just think the defence that I've seen from Leeds in the last 2 weeks, particularly against sides that were fighting for the 5, will stand them in good stead, and I'm going to go Leeds by 4.
I'm going to go Leeds as well. You can see what Robert Louis adds to Leeds in terms of putting him alongside Richie Myler, allows Richie Myler to do the things he does well, and Rob Louis does the things he does well. It's interesting what happens with Matt Parcell, isn't it? Why are they? Oh, anyway, bizarre. But Leeds will have too much for Hull KR and pretty much disappointingly secure their life in the Super League for next season. And they will win by 6 points.
So you three have gone for Leeds.
He's gone for Hull KR.
Yeah, but he's not a regular.
No, but he's
he's
probably more accurate though.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't say that, he's an Aussie.
Hull KR were blown away. We were there on Friday. They got blitzed by a very good team. I did say on this show 3 weeks ago I think Leeds will win their next 3 games. They've won 2, which means I automatically think they should win this week. But Hull KR will fancy this, and they have to bounce back from last week because they got blitzed. And it also consider that many points has put them in trouble at the bottom in points difference world as well. I think it'd be really high scoring. Leeds beat Cass. Cass not in great form, and they only just beat Cass.
Breaking news: Jackson Hastings will join Wigan for the 2020 season, just announced by Salford.
There you go.
I wish we predicted that earlier.
Yeah, I thought you were going to die.
I know.
I thought you were like the.
Sorry for getting this will sound great when people.
So Salford have announced it, not Wigan.
Salford. Well, I don't know if Wigan have announced it as well.
We've just seen on the
Salford.
Is he wearing a Wigan shirt or holding a Wigan
Kissing the
scarf?
badge. He is.
Yeah.
No wonder he wasn't at that thing today.
Yeah.
Yeah, being busy. Hull KR, I think will come and throw it around. Leeds, they beat Catalan, played Catalan at the right time, bang out of form, away from home. Catalan give them 18 start and lost by 19 in the end, so that tells you everything. I'm going to go Hull KR. I think it'd be really high scoring. I'm going Hull KR by 2.
They announced it at the same time.
Very good. St Helens Wigan, John Davis.
Yeah, I know Wigan have won. Is it 4 in a row?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, they're obviously improving.
Big 3 weeks. They've got Hull away and Saints away in the next 3 weeks.
I haven't really beaten anyone of any note in my opinion. I think St Helens is still way above them. So I can't see anything but a St Helens win by 16 points, to be honest. I think, St Helens will know it's a traditional rival, they'll be up for this and they'll put them to the sword.
Yeah, there certainly won't be much in this, considering I say we was there last week watching the Warriors against Hull KR, and with ball in hand, defensive wise, the commitment, the philosophy is sensational. The Wigan Warriors of old, and Adrian Lam now seems to have got a smile on his face. The players themselves have got a smile on their face, and yeah, St Helens, yeah, they're firing very well, and Holbrook is picking men on the same side. So this should be an absolute crack. I'm looking forward to it. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Saints, the form that they're showing, but I don't think this will be a cakewalk and it won't be easy. But I'll go for Saints. I'll just go Saints again by 7. I don't think there'll be much in it.
I think this won't be dissimilar to the Warrington Saints game of a couple of weeks ago. There'll be nothing in it early on. The 2 sets of forwards will belt the living bejesus out of each other. And then in the latter stages, Saints' extra class in attack might just be the difference. So I think Saints will win. I'm going to go Saints by 6.
Saints as well. And I still think Wigan will win the grand final. Maybe I'll change my mind on Friday after they get out. Saints will win. And how far away are they from clinching the league leadership? Must be just a couple of weeks away now. They will win comfortably enough by 10.
Saw Wigan last week. I think Wigan put a notice down that come the playoffs, if they play like that, it'll take a good team to beat them. And with John, they're on an upward trend, but this is the biggest test for a while. I think Saints are flying at the minute. I think Saints will win. I don't think there'll be a lot in it because I think Wigan's defence.
After by Saints, you have to go for Wigan.
So is that it? All right, well, I've got to go by Wigan then. No, that's right. That's right. Yeah, so we can't all be wrong. I'll go. I'm going to get none at this rate. I'm going Wigan. No, you're right. You're right. Sorry, you're right. I've got to follow the rule. That's it. Yeah, all right. Wigan. I think Wigan will win. I'm going to go Wigan by 1. There you go. You let it that bit out. It'll look great.
Not convinced.
No, look. The way they played last week. If you give me that performance on Friday, they won't be far away.
And then everyone will moan that it wasn't on telly.
Yeah, Wakefield. Yeah, I'll go Golden Point.
Yeah.
Wakefield against Castleford.
I'm at this game, so it's the biggest game of the round, and
Okay.
yeah, two teams not in great form. Castleford have got a great record against Wakefield in the last 3-4 years. I think they'll probably just have a little bit too much for their local rivals and Cass by 8.
Yeah, two teams, are lacking form, aren't they? But watching Wakefield Trinity last week, gutless performance. Simple as that. There's no other explanation for it, to be honest with you. Cass, maybe lacking a bit of confidence, lacking creativity, lacking quality half-backs. So you would say they've not got a lot going for them, to be honest with you, from there. But I just feel as though they've got a bit more quality. Wakefield got at this moment in time. Big players are out of form. And I think for Wakefield to get feet for feet now, he needs to stop being a nuisance. He needs to make sure that instead of complaining to referees, complaining to players, complaining to every Tom, Dick and Harry, just go hard and straight and direct, do the creativity what you do, not scoring tries but also 2 creating tries, but no, you're a nuisance. And I think at this moment in time, too many Wakefield players, big players are out of form, and I'm going Cass by 10.
Can someone tell Wigan that you don't have to release all the news at once?
Go on then.
So like Adrian Lamb has signed a new deal, right, 5 minutes later. Jackson Hastings has signed a excellent. George Williams is leaving. Right, why do you tell us?
Oh, they've finally announced that.
Spread it over.
Yeah. Well, they've got first refusal on him when he comes back.
Has he already signed a marquee contract but not actually signing a marquee contract?
They've got
Like John Bateman.
You haven't said where he's going.
The NRL.
Really?
It's not loaded up yet, but I assume it's
So George of the Warriors, isn't it?
Gold Coast.
Wakefield and Cass, I think in mitigation for getting this wrong, we don't know what the 19s are. And
it doesn't matter.
And that could be important.
Phil, stop making excuses and give us a prediction.
But I think if Brough and Fifita are out, that again lessens the chance, I think, of Wakefield coming back from the south of France and winning. If Cass get the amount of ball that they did last Friday, I think they'll be better than they were. So I'm going to go Cass by 10.
According to some, Wakefield's number 1 is the best player in the squad and should be given a lifetime contract because he's got passion and desire and loves the club. So I'll be signing a new contract as well soon for the club. Can't wait to start playing. I'm going to go for Wakefield because I have to. If we'd have tipped the women's semi-finals, I wouldn't have gone for Wakefield. Just to point that out. Casper were dreadful. As John mentioned, they have a good record against Wakefield recently, but they had a good record against Leeds. And they weren't very good. I know they've got a half-back back this week, so at least that's a positive for Cass. But I'm going with Wakey anyway, I don't care. And we'll win by 6.
This is the two clubs in, isn't it, at the minute?
It's the Met down.
That's why I'll be selling it on the radio on Friday. What a game.
Yeah. I think if Wakey are missing a couple of key players, no Fafita, no win for me. Not doing enough at the minute. Brough's absence, if it is an absence, might be a positive. We don't know, but we will see. I think Cass will just about have enough. I'll go Cass by 8. Right, we need to skate on with these. There's only one left. Warrington, Salford. Salford did win at Warrington early in the season.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. I think Warrington, they need to keep pushing upwards. They showed that against London. Whether they rest a few players or not, I think Salford won't get near them. Warrington by 16.
I've got to agree with John, to be honest with you. I say Salford, every time Dick and I's leaving, Watson's asking his players for full commitment, full desire, before they go. But boy, oh boy, how can he manage that dressing room when everybody's leaving? How are they going to give it 100% when they know they're playing everywhere from there? Warrington want a bit of revenge, what Salford did to, I think it was Easter weekend, wasn't it? When they turned them over, and they'll carry on that good form for the first half against London. I think this will be easy for Warrington. I'm going Warrington by 24.
We said last week that we couldn't really fully predict the relegation battle because a team was going to go on the slide, and some team that was already involved in it would probably start winning enough matches to be looking up the table rather than down. I thought it was going to be Huddersfield that was the team on the slide. I have a feeling now after watching last Thursday it could be Salford. I just think Robert Louis, they're not a one-man team, but if that's your heart, it's been ripped out of them. And I think the fact now that there is some uncertainty about next year, what shape they're going to look like, I mean, that is affecting the mood and the squad there, and I have absolutely every sympathy for Ian Watson, who I don't know how he's held it together for so long, but I think after this weekend Salford could be in a bit of trouble.
Salford after winning London in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
that is a must-win game.
But I don't think they can win this week, and I think they'll lose by 24.
It's a good job this programme's coming to an end, otherwise we'd run out of Wigan news. Dan
You bet.
is leaving.
Is he? He's got Salford, isn't he?
Is he?
I don't know. You better pick Salford, by the way, because I'm not picking him.
You can pick Warrington, whatever you want. Warrington, they're any good. I've seen them on the telly and everything. And Salford, bloody hell, they were terrible, weren't they?
Yes.
Oh, dearie me. And we all were massively interested in Salford to win that game. Sticking to women's rugby now, it's easier. Warrington by 18.
My worry is Blake Austin. I reckon he might not play. He did go off with an arm injury, and it was heavily
Would
iced
you
up.
not rest him?
Yes, you
At
would.
this is a
Yeah.
Well, I said I would have rested him at
London, yeah.
Like, you know, but then someone made a good point. Who are they going to play at halfback?
Is Kevin Brown? He's not fully
no,
fit.
He's not ready. So who would they play? That is a
With
genuine-
Ratchford injured,
With Ratchford out,
yeah,
they've
he
got a
would be the
problem, haven't
next. Yeah,
So can they leave him out? I
you could
don't
probably
know.
play Patton and Levette.
Is it okay?
He's okay.
You couldn't play him then. Yeah, that would be a problem.
Ben Curry, maybe. I don't know. Curry, I don't know.
It's not what the...
Yeah,
Ben Murdoch
it'd be a very
necessarily-
functional
Yeah.
6. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is
Darryl
it. That
Clark?
is, yeah, and maybe play
Play Walker.
Davis
Walker
or
or
Walker.
Davis. Yeah. So that might be where they need to go. That would be a concern. Didn't like what I saw at Salford. How many times can you keep drawing from the well? Come on, lads, band of brothers. Not happening. I think if Austin plays, I think Warrington will win by 46 points.
So you're going Salford then, under the new rules?
No, I'm not. I'm abandoning that. I can't. I'm not having it for Salford.
You're gonna
By the time the game's played, Salford have probably sold all their team.
You're going to do what
Will
the
be
Championship chairman have done and change the rules midway through the
Possibly.
Ian
Yeah.
Watson's
I'm going to have a vote on it
Yeah.
later, but I'm not going to let you know who I'm voting for. Right, that's it. We're done. Want loads of reviews of the podcast. Nice ones, preferably, if you don't mind. Our thanks to John Davison for making one in. I hope Australia gets stuffed on Thursday, mate. I really do. Thanks to Gary for bringing his trophy. Look after it, Gaz. Well done.
Has the knob off the top fallen off?
It's brought it on. I thought the Belle Isle lads might have nicked it, so I did take a picture when he won it, and I've confirmed it wasn't on when he got his hands on it, so he hasn't broken it. Thanks to Phil as ever. Thanks to you. Thanks to Rich.
New
for
4020 this week.
New 4020 this week. 8 years old. So if you've never bought it, buy it. Buy it for Phil. Buy it for Phil.
Sexy
He's
cover.
got a family to look after.
Some people love Wayne Bennett, so to some this will be almost top shelf
Just
material.
Gemma Carter.
Yeah. And that's it. We're back. We're back next week. We'll see you then.
John Davison there.